Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early lie. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early lie. I know it's hard to believe it's the whole forest, not one tree, and it's every branch and leaf. They're born to deceive, but I'm telling you the truth. It's not just one or two, it's every single Jew. They all hate you, and it really breaks my heart. But their lies are off the charts, and they only bring us harm. You gotta get smart. So if you want to be safe and don't want to get replaced, it's best you start being based, or you'll get erased. Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life. I know it's hard to accept that all the ones you've met lie with every single breath. They want you dead, but you must not be weak. Just open your eyes and see they always exploit the meek. See their vampire teeth, and it can make you cry to learn your life was full of lies and their face was a disguise. But you must fight. So if you want to live and protect all of your kin, you have to grow thick skin, or we won't. Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life.
Oy vey, they know we run the banks. Oy vey, they know we pimp the skanks. Oy vey, they know we start the wars. Oy vey, they now hate us even more.
more can we take of this? We gotta do more than just say some things. We gotta pass some laws, we gotta change it all. Because if we don't, our country will completely fall. How many more kids need to die? How many more genocides? We tell ourselves lies that it will be alright, but we are all blinded by our delusional pride. Dreidel spinning, chicken swinging, always sinning, tunnel rats, interest rating, child raping, always faking little hats, non-stop crying, genocide denying, always lying, demon seeds, baby bombing, dirty con men, always doing evil deeds. We have gotta check our floors.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
We will not be secure. Oh my God, our foundations are shaking. We've blessed Israel, but we're forsaken. How much more taxes to them when they don't even act like our friends? They even assassinated our favorite president. They are not our ally, they are evil terrorists. Dreidel spinning, chicken swinging, always sinning, tunnel rats, interest rating, child raping, always faking little hats, non-stop crying, genocide denying, always lying, demon seeds, baby bombing, dirty comment, always doing evil deeds.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Dreidel spinning, chicken swinging, always sinning, tunnel rats, interest rating, child raping, always faking little hats, non-stop crying, genocide denying, always lying, demon seeds, baby bombing, dirty con men, always doing evil deeds.
Test, 1, 2, 3. Test. All right. Test. All right. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. My bad. All right, we're back in it. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the hell happened there. Switch my sound settings for a second. But anyway, welcome to the Stream Ninjas. You guys like that new banger right there?
Welcome, punch.
Yeah, shout out to Lucas Gage. That all comes from Lucas Gage. Sorry about that, guys. I had to switch the microphone setting. I don't know why it randomly switched like that. But yeah, we're here now. We're here now, boys. Okay. So let's see here. Got a lot to cover today. Guys. So we're going to roll right into it. 2 chats we got here. Jab subscribed. I think you joined OSS. Welcome, bro. And then we got Mr. Morpheus says, good morning, Supreme Leader. Hey, good morning to you too, my sir. Yeah, guys, my sleep schedule is cooked. That's a whole other conversation. But, okay. So we're going to cover a couple different things, guys. We're going to cover Charlie Kirk's letter to Bibi Netanyahu. As you guys know, I think he wrote like a 7-page letter not too long before he passed away back in May to Benjamin Netanyahu, a.k.a. the Prime Minister of Israel. We're going to go over that. That's going to kind of put us in where his head state was prior to him dying or passing away tragically. Then we're also going to talk about the debate with Anus and Reach and Knight. We're going to break that down. Also, Tucker has a new series, okay, on 9/11. I watched all of it. I watched all 5 parts. Most of it is behind his paywall. So what we're going to do is I'll watch maybe 1 episode with you guys here, and then we're going to cut to OSS and watch the rest over there, okay? So we'll do that later on in the evening, depending on how much time we have. But yeah, guys, we're here now. We're live. I wasn't feeling too hot earlier, guys, which is why I started the show at 10. But we're here now. Going to cover some news. Also, we're going to cover Pete Hegseth this morning. I watched some of his speech this morning to a lot of the high-ranking guys in the military. It was, a lot of people liked it. We're going to talk about Matt Walsh. Let's see here, and him being super critical of Muslims, right? Which I've always found kind of interesting and funny. And then what else? We'll cover a little bit of Andrew Tate. We'll finish. Actually, we'll pick up where we left off yesterday with Brett Cooper. We'll do that first, and then we'll get into the other stuff. And if you guys are wondering, the name of the song is called "Dreidel Spinners" by Lucas Gage. If you guys are wondering, and if you guys are wondering, yo, Myron, why was it faster? I played at 1.25 speed, so it's normally not that fast, but I was playing it at 1.25, so that's why I sound a little bit different. You guys are wondering why it sounds not like how Lucas has it. Cool. I think we are good there. Housekeeping out the way. Alejandro says, when I saw Hardwell for the first time this past week and got to witness a 2-hour set from him, one of the best to do it. Yeah, dude, I've seen Hardwell a million times. I've been in the EDM scene since like 2011-ish or whatever, but I stopped going, dude, in like the last festival I went to was like 2017. Because I don't do drugs, bro. So I don't do drugs. I don't really like being around drunk people all the time and shit like that. So it's not, I like the music, but, I just don't like the kind of people it brings. A lot of degenerates. Drewski, oy vey, I'm sure you know Yom Kippur is coming up. Mordecai needs to make an appearance to congratulate. You know it. Nava says, join OSS. I'm a mechanical contractor in Alaska, so boilers, HVAC, plumbing, etc. I think I'm our furthest north member. Thank you for building this and being our voice. I got you, bro. I got you. And guys, we're still running the promo. If you guys want to join the OSS for only $1, just type in the code JaysDid911 and you'll get in. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into where we left off. You guys remember I was explaining something here, and this is Brett Cooper, right? We're midway through this. We're almost done. But we were explaining how Brett Cooper knows nothing about the red pill. And then, welcome to the OSS 300, by the way, Nova. Happy to have you, bro. Happy to have you. Good to have people that have different skill sets. And I'm in that chat all the time, by the way, chat. I'm in there all the time. You can ask them. So, let me see here. All right, let's start running the video. Oh, hold on. I got this shit muted. Sorry.
That they create. It's all bitching with no solution. And I've spoken highly of these guys in the past, and was certainly inspired by many of them to join an important fight, but my patience and admiration is starting to disappear. Feminism is fundamentally evil, and I'm not going to concede to living a life where we allow it to exist with no opposition.
I mean, she did not mince words, and everything that she said about the Red Pill Bros, about this community of guys, these attitudes, you could also say that about feminism. You could say that about Alex Cooper. It's like you allegedly saw men that were dating around, that were playing games with you when you were in high school and college, and instead of trying to be better and encourage them to be better and just move away from those guys and try to date somebody who wouldn't treat you like a piece of crap, you decided to just be what you hate, what you were attacking. Like, how does that actually make it better? How does that make society better or change things for your community, for yourself, for the next generation of men and women? It does nothing. Therefore, if we are going to fix things, we have to find a way forward that does not exclusively revolve around pointing fingers and doing things in a reactionary,
Robin Kobe with the 5 gifted. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate that.
way. Everybody, like Billy was saying, needs to take accountability for themselves and their actions, and probably most importantly, not be an asshole to the opposite sex. It really is that simple. So now the final question, and the most important question, is how do we fix this? Where do we go from here? Well, I have messages for both men and women here. Now, women, you need to know that men are not monsters. Not all men are bad, and if you respect yourself and you hold yourself to a higher standard, an amazing man will come your way. That is kind of like how the world works. If you put it out there, you will receive. So build up and encourage masculinity. Do not mock it. Learn to love and appreciate men for their quirks and their silliness and their interesting senses of humor. Like, encourage the men in your life to be leaders and help hold them to a high standard. Now, for men, I also similarly need to say that women are not the enemy. Not every woman out there is scheming about how she's going to manipulate you and divorce you and take all of your money and screw you over like that. That is not every woman out there. I'm sure that there have been horrible stories of those women, but there are a lot.
All right, so this is where Brett Cooper, goes to show her lack of awareness. Look, is every girl going to go ahead and take you to divorce court, destroy you financially, and take everything from you? No, that's not what the problem is. The problem is that they can. And that's what she doesn't understand. They can. And since they can, and they have the ability to do so. And most importantly, they're incentivized to do so because we live in a fault-free divorce court system where women are rewarded for divorcing you. It's no longer to men's benefit to get married, okay? Because the issue here is that there's no upside for men to getting married anymore because the family court laws never caught up to feminism. The family court laws are still written in a way where it assumes the man is the breadwinner, the man is the one that controls the finances, etc. And the family courts were created, guys, to basically, the family courts were created so that women have a leg up on men if they get divorced, right? And they're not thrown to the side of the road with destitute. That is what family court laws were put in place for.
A lot of women who just want a good man, and they are good women, and they're out there trying to meet you. So get up the courage to go ask a girl out for coffee. Have the confidence to know that if she says no, it might not have anything to do with you. And like Jordan Peterson says, if you want to...
Yeah, but that's precisely the problem, is that guys can't do that anymore, right? And again, this is why, you know, what is Brett? She's like in her early 20s, right? Let's look this shit up real quick. Hold on. She can't be older than like 26.
To be leaders and help hold them to a high standard. Now for men,
She's 23 years old. Yeah, bro. So, dude, oh wow, she has the same birthday as my brother. All right. Well, anyway, dude, bruh, like this chick wasn't even alive when 9/11 happened. You know what I mean? So, and this is the problem, is that she's speaking from an extremely unaware and narrow position where she doesn't understand what it's like to be a man nowadays, right? And what it's like to be in the dating marketplace as a man. She has zero clue, right? And the other thing too, also that, you know, even older women aren't aware of this. So let me explain what I mean by this. When women talk to each other, right, there's a certain way that they deal with each other, okay? They speak in a certain tone. They comment each other on dumb shit that doesn't matter. They make frivolous conversation, etc. Right? There's a mode of decorum when women communicate amongst each other, right? What's understood doesn't need to be said, right? Because women, you know, are very strong communicators, right? And they're also very receptive to body language and all these other things. And this is a biological thing, right? Because they need to be able to tell if you're, you know, ticking like this and shit, if you're a weirdo, that they can run away, right? So, when women communicate with each other, they deal with each other in a certain way. But here's the flip side. When women deal with men, they deal with them in a significantly different manner than when they deal with their female counterparts. Does that make sense? Okay. A significant part of female game, all right, is deception. Let's just be honest here. Just call a spade, right? A significant part of how women deal with the opposite gender is deception. What do I mean by this? Makeup, waist trainers, hair extensions, heels, dressing up, etc. Increasing their sexual market value temporarily, right, to convey themselves in a certain way. Also, women typically don't show interest to men, okay? They conceal it. So it puts the man in a position where he has to be the one to pursue, right? Women hide their intentions a lot of the times. Shout out to you, Robin Kobe 24. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the gifted. That's my #1 ninja on Kick, dude. Thank you. Appreciate that, dude. Bro, you're like one of the few reasons I still stream on Kick. Anyway, so when women communicate with each other, it's one way. Then when they communicate with men, it's another thing. So when they deal with men, they're far more reserved. They don't disclose as much information. They're not as transparent. And this is all in an effort for you to pursue more as a man, right? So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because it's very important to understand that when women communicate with each other versus when they communicate with men, it's two different things. And since women communicate in a significantly different manner amongst themselves versus with men, Brett has zero fucking idea what it's like to approach and or talk to a girl as a male, okay? She's saying something dumb like, oh yeah, just invite her out to a coffee and see what happens. Unfortunately, that's not good enough anymore. Okay, unless you're like a Chad and you have extremely high sexual market value, most guys are gonna get blown out the water and rejected while trying to approach women, right? There's a reason why the MGTOW movement, the red pill, and shout out to the other guy, appreciate you, bro, with the 5 gifted. There's a reason why the red pill, MGTOW, all these different types of genres have exploded over the past 5 years. Obviously I'll give Fresh and Fit some credit because we kind of pioneered it and brought it into the mainstream, right? Because it used to be a underground, male-only community, but we've kind of brought it to the forefront and mainstreamed it. But the reason why it's so popular is because there's an apartheid fucking existence between men and women, for lack of a better term. There's literally an apartheid system between men and women with how we operate. There's certain doors that are open to women that will never be open to you as a man, no matter how successful you are, how attractive you are, how much of a Chad you are, etc. There's just certain things and certain opportunities that you'll just simply never get. And this is why I'm so, I tell you guys to be very cautious when listening to females give dating advice because they're speaking from an extremely limited perspective. I'll give you guys another example. If you guys remember, Sadia Khan, right? What, a month or 2 ago, she got exposed for being a complete fraud and not knowing what the fuck she's talking about because she was actually some dude's side chick. Like, I've been telling y'all for years that she's a fraud. Literally, for years. And it took, phone calls leaking out or voicemails for you guys to realize, like, oh shit, maybe she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Fake psychologists, fake everything, right? And I've been telling y'all this for a minute. Like, you don't ask the fish how to fish. You ask the fisherman, right? I don't care how many psychology degrees somebody has. Well, in this case, Sadia Khan didn't have any. She's a fraud. But I don't care what their education is. Dealing with women is an art, okay, as a guy, right? Because half the game is not just communicating to them in a way where you're attractive. The other half is making sure they don't waste your fucking time, okay? There's levels to this shit. And I know I got a lot of young guys watching me right now, so I'll go a little bit deeper on this because a lot of you niggas are simps. And the other problem, too, is that your favorite kick streamers and your favorite Twitch streamers, they're all simps, too. So I've noticed, like, an epidemic of young men being fucking simps, right? Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. So how do I put this in a way that you guys are gonna understand here? You know what? Let's keep playing the video, and then I'll come back to this because I don't want to go on too long of a monologue right now while we're still playing this.
Want a princess, be a prince.
But the bottom line is she's a 23-year-old female. She has zero idea what you guys are going through as men and dealing with women from a male perspective. She has zero clue. And making the stupid comment about, oh yeah, let's get coffee shows her ineptitude.
That means you have to work on yourself. It means you have to be bold and confident and be a leader and be somebody that she would want to be with, that she would be attracted to. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but for a lot of women, that is not being a bitter, angry red pill bro. And on that subject of red pill attitudes, I don't just want to shame this and not give a solution. So I want to offer some sort of alternative or clarity because I know it's hard.
Well, here's the thing. If your sexual market value is high, it doesn't matter. That's something else that she fails to tell you guys. If your sexual market value is high, you could be the biggest misogynist on earth and women are going to love you. Right? That's something else that women don't understand. Women don't care about what you say. It's how you say it and where you stand in a sexual marketplace. Okay? If some loser says, oh, yeah, women are dumb, girls are going to take offense to that. But if someone like me or Andrew Tate or somebody says, oh, yeah, women are dumb, ha, 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 like, they're going to be like, oh, stop it. Right? It's not about what's said. It's about who says it and how they say it and who they are. That's what matters.
Hard out there. I know it's confusing. I know it's very easy to get bitter when you feel like you are backed up into a corner. And so I want to share something with you that was just so wonderful to hear as a woman. It was something that Alex loved hearing. And this is something that Father Mike Schmidt says. And for the last 2 years, I have gone back to this one homily from Father Mike because I really think that it hits the nail on the head when it comes to masculinity. So this is from his Father's Day homily back in 2023. And basically in this homily, Father Mike lays out the problem that our culture.
In before TradCon advice comes out. Here we go. We're about to get some bullshit TradCon advice. Hey, Robert Kobe with the 10 gifted, bro. Thank you so much. Robert Kobe 24 in the house, MVP on Kick. Giving out kicks, giving out 20 subs. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you very much, my friend.
Culture basically just gives men two options. The option of being that chill feminist bro who is just meek and mild and weak and a slacker, or the other option is someone who is a brute and uses his strength tyrannically, which he says is akin to this whole red pill ideology. That would be the toxically masculine side of things. So just take a listen to what he says here.
Our culture offers young boys two alternatives, two visions of what it is to be a man. And one is he calls
How'd I know, bro? How'd I know, man? How did I know she's going to put some christening on?
The slacker dude. The slacker dude is we might call it the weakling. He's the passive person. He's not just kind of a nice guy. He's the person who, like, not only, couldn't hurt a fly or wouldn't hurt a fly, but he couldn't hurt a fly. The opposite vision that our world offers is what Dr. Leonard Sachs calls the brute or the bully. We would say that's the toxic masculine man, right? The person who just like the tyrant, basically. And so these are the two images that our world gives young men. It says either you can be the weakling or the tyrant. You can either be the slacker dude or you can be the brute, the bully.
And from there he says, you might think that Jesus would want you to be the meek and gentle man rather than being the tyrannical brute, but really it's neither of these options because what culture is presenting you with, neither of them are good. What God wants you to be, how you are designed to be, is a man who is strong enough to care and serve others, but that first requires taking responsibility and ownership over your life. It's taking responsibility for who you are as a man. This is what he says.
I now, a marker of adulthood, is I'm now willing to take responsibility for myself. And how do I say it like this? I'm willing to develop my strength. I'm willing to develop my own competence. I'm taking responsibility for developing my own competence. I'm taking responsibility for developing my own strength. I'm becoming a man. There's another level. There's another level of adulthood, another level that's just incredible. It takes responsibility for others. And that's the difference between becoming a man, I take responsibility for myself, and becoming a father.
See, look, nothing wrong with this, guys. I truly do, agree with this. But and this is why I'm so reluctant, guys, to incorporate religion when it comes to this stuff. Dude. So, okay, let's talk about this, all right? If you go back in time, let's say 70, 80 years ago, right? 1950s, right? Religion, alongside shame and culture, made it where it contained female hypergamy, okay? What is hypergamy, right? Let's define that first. Hypergamy is the practice of women dating and marrying up. This means getting with a man who has more money than them, getting with a man who's taller than them, getting with a man who's more competent than them, and getting with a man who's has higher status than them, right? This has been the way, it's always been this way since the beginning of time. Women look to men for resources. And since they look to men for resources, right, that means that the man doesn't just need to have enough resources for himself, but needs to have enough resources for her and him, okay? So excess resource, and then even more than that for a family. Right? So back then, religion, alongside shame, alongside the strong family unit, alongside a stronger society, all these things contained the dark side of hypergamy, okay? If a woman was married back in the 1950s, right, and she had a husband, she was far less likely to be a 304. Because what if the church finds out? What if her family finds out? What if it gets around town? What if people start spreading rumors, etc.? It will destroy her reputation and her credibility, right? So you had these buffers in place to constrain female hypergamy, okay? You didn't just have religion. You had an entire infrastructure, an entire social ecosystem to combat female hypergamy. And just so you guys know, this has been something that's been done for centuries in human civilization. If you look at any society, they've all been patriarchies, right? And not only have they been patriarchies, they've had a tight control on female sexuality. Okay, and I don't mean this like whipping them and shit like that, making them slaves. No, but there were very tight social parameters around female sexuality to protect their modesty, right? Don't you find it interesting that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all practice modesty, all the Abrahamic religions with women, and the man is the leader? Isn't it interesting how if you go to feudal China or to ancient Japan or to ancient Egypt or Native American civilizations here in the Americas, they were all patriarchies and they all did things to control female hypergamy to a degree? You know, outside of like escorts and shit like that. Or concubines, outside of that. So, it's no mistake that human beings have adapted to understand that female hypergamy is a destructive force and needs to be controlled. And multiple different ancient civilizations have known this. Now, how the hell did Muslims in the fucking Ottoman Empire, alongside Japanese and feudal Japan, how did all these guys know, without cell phones or technology or, email, you got mail, how the hell did they all know that they needed to control female hypergamy? Right? Because they understood that if female hypergamy is untethered, society's cooked, which is where we are right now, by the way. So to bring this off back to this guy's, discussion here, though I respect the position of religion when it comes to controlling female hypergamy and keeping women in line, the reality is that we don't have all the other social infrastructures in place anymore to control female hypergamy. And since we don't have all these different mechanisms in place anymore, marriage in dealing with modern women is a far more dangerous and combustible operation. You're taking on significantly more risk because you're not dealing with a God-fearing woman that came from a strong household where there was a father patriarch. More than likely, you're going to deal with a woman who came from a single mother household that doesn't respect men or male authority because her mom's been telling her whole life that men ain't shit, or she has a fractured relationship with her dad. And then on top of that, modernity has poisoned their mindset to think, I don't need a man. And as much as people sit there and say, oh yeah, it's good that women are independent, whatever, I don't think people understand, and normies especially don't understand how pernicious this actually is. Okay? If I told you, you need to go ahead and lose weight, right? And there were two options. You said, I need to lose weight, right? Or else I'm going to die of diabetes. Or I want to lose weight so I could look better for the beach. Who's going to be more adherent to their diet? Probably the guy that's going to die if he doesn't lose weight, right? Whenever you need something, you're far more likely to do the steps required to achieve that effect. But if you only want something, you're only going to work towards it when you feel like it. Okay? So since you don't need it, you'll just do it at your leisure, which means it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to be as quickly. It's not going to be as, it's not going to be taken as seriously. Now, I move this over to women nowadays. Women don't need men anymore. It's very important for you guys to understand this. Believe them when they say, I don't need a man. They don't need men anymore. They only want men now. Okay? And unfortunately, since they only want men, that means they aren't going to do everything required to keep you around or keep you satisfied or do, on the other hand, their obligations as a wife and or a girlfriend. It's very fucking important, guys. This is life-saving advice for you guys. Some of you motherfuckers right now are thinking about proposing to some chick that don't even fucking like you. Or you guys are seeing some woman or dating some girl that doesn't give a shit about you. She only wants you, but she doesn't need you. If a girl doesn't need you, guess what? She's not going to do everything required to keep you. And this is why I tell guys that when you date in today's day and age, you need to move very cautiously. Because now you got untethered hypergamy. Now you got women that don't respect male authority in general. Now you got a feminized society where we live in a gynocentric social order. Now we have a family court system that incentivizes them to break up with you and take half your money and leave you because for them, they get more benefit by leaving than staying. You have all these fucking obstacles in your way. And the power of religion that used to keep women in check, it's dissipated over the past several decades. Unfortunately. We live in a secular, modernized, Western world where temporary and gratifying experiences in today's life is more important than religion. And since religion no longer has the same stranglehold in society it once did, you can pretty much bet that that's going to affect women in a negative manner. Okay? And the other thing also that no one is talking about here in this thing with Brett Cooper is that there's no burden of performance on females. Okay? What do I mean by this? As a man, every time you walk outside, you're reminded about where you stand on the sexual marketplace, right? You go up to a woman, she rejects you. Okay, I need to fucking refine my game. Girls that answer your calls, oh damn, maybe I'm weird. You approach women at the bar, they reject you, maybe you stink or you don't dress well. We get constant reminders of where we stand in the sexual marketplace every time we step outside. Okay? Most guys know where they stand in the sexual marketplace and, accept it a lot of the times, or they improve. Right? If I were to ask 100 guys, yo, where do you rate yourself 1 to 10? Right? Unless he's a fucking dumbass monkey. And I tell him, yo, I need you to really actually rate yourself on a sexual marketplace where you stand. Most guys are going to be fairly honest about it. There might be 1 or 2 numbers off. However, okay, if I ask a woman what her sexual market value is, we all know what she's going to say. 11? Well, that's not even on the scale. 20 then. That's not on the scale either. 9.9. Right? And she's fucking 300 pounds. The audacity, the fucking gall of them to imply that they're perfect. But that's not them doing that. That's not their fault necessarily. This is a byproduct of the gynocentric social order, where women are pedestalized no matter what they do. You guys get that? Women chronically overvalue themselves of where they stand in the sexual marketplace. And it's because the problem I just told you guys before, they don't get real-time data on where they stand in the sexual marketplace because everyone's trying to smash them. So since everybody's trying to smash them, no one is actually genuine and honest with these women about where they stand in the sexual marketplace, since men will smash anything. Why is this important? It's important because someone like Brett Cooper is saying, oh, well, both parties need to come to the table and figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Look, men understand that there's a burden of responsibility. We know if we're a bum, we can't provide for a family. We understand our roles to a degree. Here's the problem. Women fucking don't. Okay? All roles are static. We're supposed to provide, protect. It's been that way since the beginning of time. However, the women, they're the ones that have changed. They went from nurturing mothers to, I want to be a boss babe. The men haven't changed all these decades. It's been the females. And since women have changed, their roles alongside that has changed as well. And the burden of performance on them has changed as well. They will attribute masculine traits to themselves and think that's a positive. If you guys watched the show yesterday, right? We had a girl on the show yesterday. Nice girl. She was with her boyfriend and she supported him for 8 years. Right? He was a brokey. She was paying the majority of the bills. What did that do? That put her in her masculine, and she ended up being the breadwinner. And eventually she left. Right? But she had been the provider for so goddamn long that when I was trying to explain to her yesterday that her money doesn't mean anything to, the men that she wants, it was very hard for her to grasp this. Right? And that is perfectly symbolic and and a perfect representation of where we stand in society now. Women have become more like men, and they become so much like men that they don't even know what men fucking want. Does that make sense? They've become so fucking masculine, they don't even know what men want. And quite literally, it's the opposite of what they are. Most heterosexual guys that have high sexual market value, that are, type A personalities, have these traits that women like, they don't want a chick that's like them. Okay? If that was the case, they'll just go date a guy. It'd be a cheaper date anyway. Heterosexual men want women. They don't want a woman that behaves like a man. But since she's been so indoctrinated to behave like a man because her last guy was a fucking bum, she doesn't know the difference. But the reason also why she doesn't know the difference is that we don't put standards on women in society. We don't tell them you need to be more feminine. We don't tell them you need to defer to male authority. We don't tell them how they're supposed to treat a man. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and go even further on this. Every single one of you niggas in here, okay? Well, we got like 4,000 you ninjas in here. Every single one of you guys, growing up as a kid, I guarantee your mom taught you how to be a gentleman to women, right? Hold the door open, be polite, ladies first, etc. Every single one of you, no matter how fucking shitty your parents are, I guarantee you, they taught you some level of courtesy towards females, right? Give me ones in the chat if your parents taught you some kind of courtesy towards females. All right. Good. Now let's flip it on the other side. If I ask this same question to a group of women, they were not taught how to properly treat boys and men. See the difference? Unless they came from like a very traditional household, a lot of women aren't taught what men want and how to attract them. They're not taught this shit. How to deal with them, how to be a lady, etc. Right? Unless they come from a good household. But most of the time, they don't. Men, no matter how fucked up our household is, we're still going to get the fucking treatment from our mom saying you need to treat women well. Right? But little girls are not taught how to treat boys. Little girls are not taught, hey, when you grow up, you need to find a husband, blah, blah, blah. Unless she comes from a traditional household, she's not taught none of that shit. So all of this adds in to where we are now in society. Okay? So to wrap a bow on this, it's very simple. Men are held to a static standard, and it's been that way since the beginning of time. Women are not held to a static standard. They're held to whatever standard they want. If they want to be a boss babe, they'll be held on that standard. If they want to be a stay-at-home mom, they could be held on that standard. If they just want to be a bum and not do anything, they could be held on that standard. There's no burden of performance on women. Okay? A woman's performance does not affect her ability to procreate. I'm going to say that again for you guys. Very fucking important that you guys understand this. A woman's ability, right, to procreate is not contingent upon her productivity. Yours is, though. All right, let's get back to this. Okay, you know what? Time to embarrass some nigga in the chat. Hey, Gregorio Samsa in the YouTube chat. You're the fucking pick for today, nigga. You went ahead and said Myron is subverting you because he's controlled opposition. Explain to me how I'm controlled opposition, you fucking dumbass monkey. I got time today. Let's fucking go. Tell me how I'm subverting anything right now. Idiot says Myron is subverting you because he's controlled opposition. Gregorio Samsa, let's go. You're on the deck, motherfucker. Explain to me how I'm subverting you, and I'm controlled opposition, you fucking retard. Let's go. I'm going to make it a mission to embarrass one of you niggas in YouTube chat every single show. Time to make your dumb ass famous. Come on, buddy. Just bring it. Come on. Tell me how I'm subverting and I'm controlled opposition, you fucking retard. I'm waiting. I'm fucking waiting.
Fatality.
Dude said you say it's women instead? It's woman instead. What? Yo, you guys see what I'm talking about now? When I say that most dudes are fucking 40 IQ? Holy shit, bro. Dude, were you dropped on your fucking head as a baby? Huh? Honestly, I'm starting to really think that some of y'all niggas' moms was drinking when she was pregnant with you guys. Fucking fetal alcohol syndrome over here. Smooth brain fucking retard, man. That's your comeback? Yeah, bro. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Dude didn't even say anything, bro. I'm still waiting for your dumb monkey ass to respond. You can't. Holy shit, man.
A shepherd. I'm willing to take responsibility for someone else.
And then from there, he says, you can then serve and take care of others, which we see in pack animals all the time. And I love that this was the analogy.
Hey, Gregorio Samsa, say it with your chest, you fucking retard. Dude said, are you blind? We don't see what the fuck you're saying, dude. What is your argument as to how I'm subverting and I'm controlled opposition? Tell me how I'm subverting and how I'm controlled opposition, you fucking dumbass. Answer the question. One more time, since you're fucking a window-licking retard with 50 IQ, probably a sub-Saharan black. Explain to me how I am subverting and how I'm controlled opposition. For explaining to you how women mate select, you fucking dumbass. For explaining basic biology to your dumb monkey ass, how am I subverting? Come on, man. I'm waiting. I know your dumb ass is sitting there. How do I type? Your dumb monkey ass types like this. Fucking retard. God damn, man. Anyway.
That he used. Take a listen.
In subsequent studies, subsequent research have actually studied primates and wolves and other animals in the wild. And the alpha of the pack, the alpha of the group of primates, of gorillas, or of any other kind of, they weren't the ones who just dominated. They weren't the ones who just took whatever they wanted. It was almost the opposite. The alpha male of the group.
Okay, so your comeback is, okay, Myron, who are your producers because you don't work alone? And then he said, you say it's woman instead? Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm here by myself. I don't got no fucking production team, you retard. I'm literally just in here dolo. What are you talking about, dude? How does me being here by myself mean that I am controlled opposition and subverting? Answer the fucking question, retard. See, here's the problem with you idiots. You guys say something retarded, and then when I press you, explain to me how you came to that conclusion of me being controlled opposition or subverting. Your dumb monkey ass says, oh, are you working alone? Where's your producers? Nigga, it's me. What are you talking about? All right, yo, guys, roast this nigga in the chat, bro. Bro, roast this nigga in the chat, man. Holy shit, bro. Dude, you are a mouth-breathing fucking retard. Holy shit. You're one of those stupid niggas, bro. I could already you're one of those stupid niggas, right? I already know what type of dude you are. You're one of those retarded niggas. When you went to high school, they would not give you a metal fork. They gave you a plastic one with the rubber on the ends, so you don't fucking stab yourself accidentally. Yeah. Fucking 50 IQ retard, man. Holy shit. You absolutely breathe and get most of your oxygen through your mouth. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. 80% of the oxygen that goes into your body, nigga, comes in through your fucking mouth. Guaranteed. You're like that fucking nigga from Hey Arnold. Remember? When Helga's sitting there, oh, Arnold, I love you. Oh, my God. And then she hears, that's you, motherfucker. That's you. And then she hits that nigga with the bang.
Welcome, punch!
That's your dumb monkey ass. How you always got a congestion in the summertime? Fucking retard. Damn, bro.
Was the one who took care of the others. The alpha male, actually, in the wild, the alpha male was the one who served, the one who made sure.
Bro, you're so fucking stupid and retarded. You park your fucking car, don't got a handicap sticker, you walk out, cop says, oh, nah, never mind, man, it's good. That nigga don't even write you a ticket, he's so embarrassed for you. Get out the car. Cop pulls up, excited as fuck, he's about to make his quota. Write you a fucking ticket for parking a handicap. Nigga takes one look at you. Puts the fucking notepad back in his pocket, leaves the scene, man. You fucking dumbass. Niggas think you're retarded without a handicap sticker.
Sure everyone had food, the one who made sure everyone had protection, the one who made sure everyone had shelter. In fact, I remember a psychologist describing this and saying that women aren't attracted. This is for the guys, like, they're like, I want to be alpha. Why? Because I want to be the one who gets the girls. Women aren't attracted to that dominant personality. They aren't attracted to the alpha. What they're attracted to is what he called competent generosity.
And like I said, I've gone back to this homily for the last 2 years. I don't even know how many times I've listened to it. It was just one of the most incredible things I have ever heard in a culture that, again, is often very confused and angry and giving men very mixed signals. So if you want to listen to the entire thing, we'll have it linked below. I highly recommend it. I love Father Mike. I'm not even Catholic, and I just love listening to him. But basically, the reason why I wanted to share this today is that you don't have to be the strongest or most attractive person.
Yeah, because the church simps for women. That's why she loves hearing it.
In the room. You don't have to
But
be.
the problem is that the church simps for women that used to be worthy of simping for. Okay? That gentleman treatment, all that other stuff, that was reserved for women that actually behaved like ladies back in the day. Not the modern 304s that we have today.
the loudest or the one with the most brute force, but you should be someone who is good, who takes responsibility for not just your life, but for others, who can care for others, who can protect them and treat them with decency. It really just goes back to that. And women, on the flip side, should be there to accept that and appreciate that. And I promise you again, women like that are out there. Women like Nara Smith, as I said in the beginning. Take a listen to this.
Marriage is a collaboration between two people. That's how I view it. And I think that a lot of people nowadays, it's like, oh, he gave me the ick and I'm just done. Or he didn't do X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to ghost him. And I think, at least in marriage, for me, that's not a thing. It was really us learning how to communicate better, how to be there for each other, how to be less stubborn, how to be more loving and compassionate. And I think compassion is such an important and vital part of at least our marriage. And I think that's something that we had to kind of learn to have.
And of course, since we also mentioned her at the top of the episode, women like Hannah Nealman of Ballerina Farms, who openly praises and expresses gratitude for her husband, despite the women online who consistently tell her that she is oppressed and trapped in this marriage. In a recent article, she said, Daniel, my husband, is so good at just being a steady rock and just being that constant for me. He does never get entangled with the ups and downs of social media. He's just like, no, we're doing our thing. It's not about them. It is about us, and we're going to keep doing what we love and sharing. These are incredible marriages, and I love that they're putting that out in the world, and I'm just letting you know that there are women like that. There are marriages like that. That is not dead in 2025, even though we are dealing with a very obvious and very...
No, it is dead. And again, it's dead because there's no benefit. There's no upside for men getting married anymore. There's zero upside.
Significant divide between young men and women. And I'm here to tell you that traditional values, settling down, finding somebody that you love, being monogamous, getting married and having children, those values, they are not oppressive. In my experience, they have actually been the most freeing and empowering part of my life. Men and women have their distinct but equal roles in the relationship. It is designed to be this beautiful compatibility that will inevitably require a dance and compromises and empathy that you will learn in real time, and you'll probably continue learning for the rest of your life because you're two human beings that are having to work through things together. And to actually push through this epidemic of loneliness and this divide between men and women, to reject the rise of AI companions, you have to be willing to reach across the aisle of the sexes with compassion and again
yeah, too fucking late, bro. Sex robots are coming. Again, this is Brett coming from an ideal perspective, and from a very limited purview as a 23-year-old female. Bro, shit is cooked. Like I said before, religion can't save these hoes. Convenience, too common. 304-ness, encouraged. Bro, dudes are already making sex robots right now, bro. Pretty soon we're going to have Android 18s running around all over the place, bro. I'm telling y'all, man. You guys think I'm kidding around. We are going to literally have Android 18s running around this motherfucker in the next 50 years. Y'all remember Android 18? Yeah, for those that aren't aware of Dragon Ball Z. This is Android 18. I'm telling y'all, bro. This is what's going to happen, man. Niggas are tired of these bitches. You niggas are about to be like Krillin. Telling y'all, bro. This is what's in the future. There's already fucking dudes making sex robots like this. And as soon as these robots come out, bruh, niggas getting the fuck off Tinder. They're getting off SA. They're getting off Hinge. They're about to hinge themselves to a fucking Android. That's what they're going to do. Niggas are going to have an Android phone and an Android bitch. I'm telling you guys, it's coming. I'm telling you guys. If there's one thing that men are able to do, it's solving their reproductive problem. Because some idiots in the 1960s thought it would be a good idea to give women rights. Oh, how'd that turn out? How'd that turn out? Huh? Didn't go too well, did it? So, best believe, bro, the Android era is coming. Within the next 50 to 100 years, I predict that female robots are going to be a thing and they're not going to be fucking frowned upon. Look, I ain't going to do it because that's just weird to me. But to deny the fact that this is coming in the future is to be naive and stupid. Men always find ways to solve their problems. We built bridges to get around rivers and oceans, right? We built skyscrapers to save space. We created electricity and sewage to modernize society and increase sanitation. We did all these fucking innovations. You don't think niggas are gonna find a way to get their dick wet with some androids? Yeah, you stupid.
Welcome, punch!
And you know who this is gonna hurt? This is gonna hurt women more. Because here's the difference. Men don't need the same level of, how do I say this? Human interaction that women do. Women are interested in people, men are interested in things. Men don't need the emotional stimuli and the connection to the same degree that women do. And the problem is that the only way women are gonna get that, emotional stimuli for a man is it's gotta be a real fucking individual. That ain't gonna come from the AI. Us, on the other hand, bro, If the robot shuts up for 23 hours a day, makes some food and gets your dick wet, bro, niggas are gonna be happy with that, bro. Dudes are gonna be happy with that. Women, on the other hand, it's gonna be a lot harder to make an android for them. That's gonna sit there and listen to their fucking annoying ass stories all day, right? And pat them on the back when they're crying. Like, hell nah, bro. We're gonna need like 200 years for that. And to be honest, niggas aren't gonna give a fuck about male robots until until the male reproductive problem is solved. Once they figure that out, then they'll go ahead and make some fucking emotional companion robots for these bitches. But for now, 100%, they're focusing on sex robots for dudes, bro. Young men nowadays, guys, are drinking less alcohol and getting less sex than ever before. Young men nowadays. So, yeah. Trust me, bro. We have more incels now than probably any other decade. And I've explained this before, why we have, internet, social media, etc., women's standards going up, feminism, all of these different things have contributed to the declination of men's ability to procure sex from the opposite gender.
Genuine interest and decency. And the first step to all of that is just getting your
Now, I ain't getting no robot, nigga. I'm just saying that's going to be the future.
ducks in a row. It's cleaning your own bedroom first. It is getting your life together. It is being a good human being. And then again, I don't know how many times I can say it, is having a basic appreciation and interest in the opposite sex. And then do not feed into these caricatures of manhood or womanhood that seek to put us all in boxes and pit us against each other. So put down your phone, log off of X, get off of TikTok, go touch grass for the love of Pete, and find somebody that you love being around, that you believe you can build a life with. Do not let social
Bruh, this is why women are fucking give terrible dating advice.
media or the world around you make you bitter. There is so much hope. There are so many great people out there who are striving for greatness and goodness. And I promise you,
See, the difference is that men know what they need to do. Women don't know what they need to do. That's the problem. All right, let's move over to Matt Walsh over here. Okay, so Matt Walsh makes some comments on Islam and mosque in Dearborn, and Sneako reacts. So let's play this clip real quick.
Nobody was thinking about this. No one was thinking about what Dearborn is.
When they were talking about freedom of religion, except the one that I don't like because Ben Shapiro told me to. Fucking idiot. Matt Walsh, I'd love to debate you. Like, just the fact that you keep on spreading hatred towards Muslims, but everyone, like, the gaping hole in your argument is that you're owned by a Mossad spy. And how are you going to disagree with the founding fathers? Freedom of religion's pretty specific. What do you think it was for? Amish people and Scientologists and you? Who do you think it was for? Hindus? Fucking idiot.
That possibility, it would have seemed impossible that anything like that would ever happen. They just didn't have Islam in mind at all.
Oh, okay. Freedom of religion, except one of the biggest ones. Freedom of religion, except for the fastest growing one.
They knew what Islam was, obviously.
But they knew what it was. They knew what it was. So where's the fucking footnote, Matt Walsh, where they said freedom of religion, except for the one Matt Walsh's boss doesn't like? Oh my God, bro. It's just pathetic. It's just pathetic.
Was at war with Muslims. But, James Madison, when he wrote the First Amendment.
All right, so I made a tweet on this, right? See if I can find it real quick. So,
listen, and Matt Walsh, when he is ready to just talk about the real issue, I will shake his hand. I will apologize.
So what Nick is referring to here is he says that guys like Matt Walsh and other right-wing political commentators punch down on BLM, Islam, etc., but they won't address the real fucking elephant in the room. Which we all know what that one is.
I will be right there with him. But until that day comes, I have to call you out. It's not personal. I don't hate you. I don't even think he's a bad guy, but he is being a coward. You are being a coward.
That's facts.
I will hear.
And look, we know why, right? What happened to Candace Owens? She got fired for talking about this shit. Right? And then Ben Shapiro gave this stupid ass, we have a certain amount of things that we go into our Overton window, blah, 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 blah. Some bullshit like that explanation for him censoring one of his own employees.
No more chest beating, chest thumping by white men who are so cowardly they won't talk about who is really taking our sovereignty from us. Don't you notice it's always these white men, and I'm going to vilify him in the other direction for a moment, pardon me. It's all these white men beating their chest. Our civilization explores, pioneers, conquerors. These brown people could never. Oh, really, tough white man? Oh, really, big white man? My ancestor? The founding fathers would never. What do you think the founding fathers would say about you working for Ben Shapiro, huh? What do you think George Washington, the hero,
Oh, yeah. I'm debating Tatum on October 2nd, chat. October 2nd, which is going to be Thursday, 7:30 p.m.
Titan? What do you think George Washington, or any of them for that?
Yeah, if it asks you to log in on OSS, just make an account on Locals, and then you could take advantage of the promo for $1.
That matter would think about you working for Ben Shapiro. What do you think about America going to war for Israel? What do you think they would say about Jews running the Ivy Leagues, Jews running the media, Jews running our Congress, bribing our politicians?
Yeah, and I made a tweet about this, right? So I go, Nick nailed it 100%. As a Muslim, I've called out the absurdity of blasting the Adhan 5 times a day in Dearborn, Michigan. Because, as you guys know, went viral the other day that they were playing the Adhan 5 times a day in Dearborn, Michigan. And I'm actually against that. As, you know, someone who grew up in a Muslim household, I don't denounce the religion. I never will, right? I do think it solves virtually all of, society's problems, right? Some of you guys might disagree with me or whatever. I know I got Christians and Jews and everybody that watches me. But the point I'm trying to make here is, the reality is that this is not a Muslim country, okay? And I think calling the Adhan 5 times a day in a city within the United States is just unacceptable. Why should everyone else be subject to listening to the call to prayer 5 times a day? And then some idiots in here told me, oh, well, Myron, the majority of Dearborn is Muslim. Well, not that much. Roughly 60% of Dearborn is like Middle Easterners and North Africans. And we don't know if all of them are Muslims. Okay? So, look, if you see, and I got some dumbass niggas in the chat already saying El Myron. Yeah, see, this is a problem with you. See, logic goes out the window once you talk about religion. This is the problem. You motherfuckers don't have the critical thinking skills to have a take that isn't beneficial to you. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let's be honest. A lot of you niggas are 50 IQ goat fuckers. If I'm going to be all the way 1,000, you niggas are stupid. He's saying something that isn't to my benefit because I'm Muslim. No, Al Myron. Shut the fuck up. Unlike you, I have the ability to critically think. And a part of critical thinking is being able to say things even if it doesn't benefit your position, if it's for the betterment of everybody else. Dumb fuck. I grew up Muslim. أنا بقدر أتكلم عربي زيك. Right? I have every incentive to say, nah, bro, Adhan 5 times a day. But I am a pragmatic individual. And not only am I a pragmatic individual, I am logically sound and I am fair. This country was now founded by Muslims. All right? So reciting the Adhan 5 times a day is extremely unfair to all the other residents of Dearborn. Just because there's a slight majority, 60% that are North Africans and Middle Easterns, which we don't even know what percentage of that is Muslim, by the way. Just because someone is from the Middle East doesn't mean that they're necessarily Muslim. Lots of Christians out there, right? Just because they enjoy a small majority does not mean that they should be playing the Adhan 5 times a day, bro. That's unfair to the other 40 to 50% of people that aren't Muslim that live in Dearborn. It's fair. If you want to pray, you want to be a devout Muslim, nothing wrong with that, bro. Put the Adhan on your phone so you get notified every time prayer comes up. And one of the ways that I could tell some of you niggas are smooth-brained retards is if I give a position that doesn't benefit you, you get offended. That's how I could tell someone's a retard. Honestly, it's actually what, keep it 1,000 with you guys. It's just to give you guys a quick little lesson here. One of the easiest ways to tell someone's IQ is to take a position that is not advantageous to them and see what they say. If someone isn't able to assess reality and say the things that need to be said, despite the fact that it might not necessarily benefit them, they are low IQ. They're low IQ. Low IQ. Just because I'm Muslim and I'm Arab does not mean that, yeah, bro, let's just play that down 5 times a day in a city because we enjoy a slight edge in population. Nah, bro. Look, and here's the other thing too. Why you niggas are stupid. If you want to be in a Muslim country, you want to be devout, etc., go to the UAE. Go to Qatar. Go to Saudi Arabia. Go to Kuwait. All these countries are beautiful. I've been to the UAE multiple times. It's clean. It's safe. There's no taxes. Fantastic place to fucking live. Go over there. But it's not fair for you to cram Islam down people's throat. In the grand scheme of things, Muslims are only about 1% of the population here in the U.S. We're here as guests, guys. We're here as guests. Now, you guys don't like hearing that, but that's how I know that you're 50 IQ. A lot of you guys are fucking 50 IQ, if I'm gonna be honest. And I know I got a lot of Muslims that agree with me, like, yeah, bro, playing that down 5 times a day is kind of OD. It disturbs people, etc. It's not fair to everybody else, bro. So, anyway, yeah, I can't believe that people get fucking butthurt in the chat about that shit. But this is why, honestly, bro, this is why so many people say Islam. Like, because there's this inability to critically think outside of what benefits Islam. Does it benefit Islam? Hell yeah. Bro, there's like 55 Muslim countries. Move to one of them. You're an American citizen. Your passport's good everywhere. Go over there. Where you can hear the fucking adhan 5 times a day, bro. The rest of us don't want to hear that shit. Even some of us that are Muslims don't want to hear it 5 times a day. It's not fair, bro. It's not fair. Anyway. Yeah, so you could tell who the low IQ retards are in the chat. And if that offends you, bro, then I don't know what to tell you, man. You're sensitive and you're soft. And you just don't adhere to reality. You simply don't adhere to reality. And it's one of the easiest ways to tell if someone is low IQ. If they're unable to take a position that doesn't directly benefit them, one of the easiest telltale signs someone is stupid. Anyway, let me go back here. All right, so Nick nailed it. As a Muslim, I've called out the absurdity of blasting it down 5 times a day in Dearborn, Michigan. This is not a Muslim country. 40 to 50% of the residents who are Muslim shouldn't have to listen to that 5 times a day. It's simple respect. But let's get real. Guys like Matt Walsh love to dunk on Islam, a tiny 1% of the U.S., while ignoring the elephant in the room. J-Power and influence over every main infrastructure point, government, finance, big tech, news media, Hollywood, etc. in America. J-influence runs deep, pulling strings in our government, dragging us into endless wars for their agenda, and bankrolling a genocide with our tax dollars. Islam's not the threat to America they sell it to be. J supremacy is the real shadow over this nation. Right? So, look, I'm just keeping it all the way real. I know some people don't like hearing some of this shit. But I think people need to be able to critically think here and understand what's really going on. But yes, I agree with Sneako that a lot of these political commentators on the right, like, they use Islam as a punching bag, which that's retarded too. But again, I criticize everybody. You guys know I've been critical of Islam. I've been critical of Christianity. I've been critical of Judaism, etc. So my thing is, I give my takes regardless of where I stand. Nomad says, I politely disagree, Myron. I'm an American citizen, and if you're a Muslim yourself, you'd know that Islam aligns way more with America than one would think. No, it doesn't, bro. The United States was founded upon the First Amendment. You can't criticize the Prophet. You get out of here. Automatic L. Bro, the First Amendment of the United States is antithetical to Islam in itself. So you're wrong. You're 100% wrong, dude. Okay. So let me read some chats. I got to catch up on this stuff. Okay. Benjamin Netanyahu. Yo, Myron, any kippas in the OSS merch store? No. Did you see Ted Cruz today? No. What happened? Spanish Oven says, hey, Myron, I followed your tips about what to do before getting married. I also made a prenup. Good. Make sure it's really good. Ironclad. EMAC, turn me up DJ Sudan. Okay. The Hardest Star says, not trying to yap too much, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for fat shaming. I went from 260 to 185 since May of 2024, mainly since hearing you reiterate the fact that being fat is unacceptable. Good stuff, bro. Glad. Mind, I'm putting off starting a podcast that would be a proxy off of your topics in dating and politics. Look, bro. Look, if you want to start a podcast, everyone has one nowadays. You're going to need to be extremely knowledgeable about what you do, and you're going to have to, start it like with the ground running. Like good equipment from the beginning, consistent from the beginning. If you're not going to be able to be consistent and commit to it, don't do it. Because it's going to cost you a lot of money and it's going to take a lot of time. You're probably going to be in the red for a few months. Frank says, Myron, go harder on the 304s after hours, please. When you're getting HC on the show, thank you for your service. I mean, bro, there's no need to really go hard on the girls on the show if they're not like being dickheads. Steve Redpill says, I hate it when women try and tell men how to be men. She has no clue. Yeah, bro. She's a 23-year-old bimbo. Ramon Martinez says, thinking of joining Navy SEALs. Do you have any advice? Ooh, it's going to be tough, bro. I got a buddy that's a SEAL. It ain't for the weak-hearted. Herb 88. I've been watching you and Stevie Knight for a while now. I would love for y'all to collab someday. You guys agree on a lot of things. He's black conservative. You don't see a lot of those. I'll be honest, bro. This guy Stevie Knight has been talking shit about us for years, bro. He just piggybacks on every Abba and Preach video that they make about us. So, nah, bro. I'm good. I don't want to collab with him, bro. I'm good, man. And honestly, watching him debate Abba was really fucking painful. Like, both of them are low IQ. It was fucking painful. And we'll go over it today. You guys will be able to see what I'm talking about. Myron, Stevie Knight reacted to you when you made woman say the hard R. Estimates people are so soft. I'm black and I'm not offended. Oh, he reacted to when we made he did? Yeah, let me guess, he got offended? They always do. Hitler's Top Goy. Do OSS members get merch discount? If so, how? OSS 300 right now. J. Lopez Mayata, WSS, we had a Zoom call for us Mormons. OSS 300 members shot out the scoreboard development. Shout out to you, bro. Bro, I got taught as a kid, my sister got more treatment and attention because she is a girl. That's a privilege. Absolutely. You're just a host says, imagine a Fresh Fit panel with AI robots and showing how much better the men would enjoy the conversation with them. JQ711 says, looking for a side hustle, taking my shot, seeing if there's anything I could do to help your stream. Clip. If you really want to help, Clip, get with Brett. Brett's going to, if you want to make some extra money, Brett's going to take guys from OSS 300 and help them make some money on the side being clippers. Chancha says, Myron, tradcon religious female, like Brett say, there are traditional girls in marriages out there and point to a specific relationship. Every time they point to a specific example, it's always a woman who has a husband who makes good money. It's never the garbage man, electrician, plumber, janitor, construction worker. Why? There you go, Chancha. Yeah. You get it. You get it. Tonic 2072, subscribed. Welcome to the OSS, brother. Darkhorn says, I'm hyped to see you debate that pussy. Don't let him run from real facts. He's going to try to deflect and ramble about shit. But when he doesn't let him run from the initial fact or question, ask him. Yeah, he didn't want a moderator, which, kind of sucks. I was going to bring in a moderator and shit, but he doesn't want to do one. So I guess it's just going to be an open discussion. Joker says, if we're being honest, the First Amendment goes against Christianity. To a degree, but I would argue with Muslims, they're far more militant when it comes to the disrespect of the prophet, which is a good thing, by the way, right? They don't tolerate shit. But yeah, they're way more 10 toes down on that than Christians are. Noble Actual says, Ted Cruz comment earlier today? Instagram? Bro, why you gotta send me the Instagram link, man? Fucking hey, IG. But we did crack 100,000 on Instagram, guys. We did crack 100,000 on Instagram. Okay. If I got time, I'll go to it. Okay, off topic, but I accepted tentative offers for CBP and Border Patrol. Is it true that if I fail the poly, let's say for CBP automatically DQs me from getting a BP position? Keyword the grind WSS. You probably will, because CBP and Border Patrol are both under the Office of Customs and Border Protection. They're one agency. There's just two different factions. Xi Ping says, Dearborn's population is about 90% Iraqi and Lebanese, mostly Shia, with nearly 80% having direct ties to Hezbollah or Iran, based on my first-hand account. Few North Africans or Sunni Muslims live there, except for Yemenis in nearby cities like Hamtrak with Houthi connections. Bro, when I Googled it, it said 60% are from North Africa and from the Middle East. I didn't see 90%. But regardless, just because they enjoy a majority doesn't mean that all of them are necessarily Muslim too. Zedra says, Myron, with podcasts, I've had the equipment for a couple of years. I just kept guessing it, and I forgot about it until I speak with normies that were intrigued by my views on race, realism, women, and politics. I told them my views. I've had the same, but with Fresh and Fit, the Rate Brothers made my speaking skills on these topics much more impactful and articulate so retards understand. Yeah, I mean, look, bro, go for it. Just like when you start, don't stop. Like you got to be consistent. You know, don't be one of these niggas that drops one video every 2 months. Okay, so just when you start, the train doesn't end. Got to be consistent. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, let's cover the Hegseth speech. He spoke this morning to a bunch of people. I'm trying to find the best video for you guys. Because it was like 2 hours long. And then Trump came in as well.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson.
The gathering of America's top generals and admirals at the U.S. Marine Base in Quantico, Virginia today was extraordinary. And what they heard from their commander
I like watching liberal news when it comes to covering shit like this. It's always funny to see them get triggered.
in chief and their secretary
as a training ground for the U.S. military.
And Secretary Hegseth railed against what he called fat generals and admirals, wokeness in the military, service members with beards, beardos he called them, and said male-level physical fitness standards will be required for combat. Anyone who does not like all of this, Hegseth said, can leave.
And for a president used to cheers at his political speeches and adulation from those who work for him, today was different. Charlie D'Agata joins us from the Pentagon.
Very different in so many ways, John. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Dan Kane started the meeting by saying it was unprecedented, the scale of senior military officers, what he called a first leaders all call. No one was sure quite to expect in what turned into a political rally. Nearly 800 of America's top military leaders were summoned from around the globe, apolitical officers who remained silent as their commander-in-chief took the stage and offered this greeting.
And just so you guys know, this meeting was unprecedented. They had never gathered so many, high levels of brass in one location, right? And it's also kind of funny too, because if you go before Trump showed up, this is what he said, which was hilarious.
This time. So I'm going to be meeting with generals and with admirals and with leaders. And if I don't like somebody, I'm going to fire them right on the spot.
If I don't like someone, I'm going to fire them right on the spot. Bruh.
This time. So I'm going over.
And I made it so I said, bro's treating the Department of Defense like an episode of The Apprentice, and I'm here for it. Most entertaining president in U.S. history. Come on, man. You got to admit that shit is hilarious.
Leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future.
That set the tone for more awkward moments of America's top. The scale of senior military officers, what he called a first leaders all call. No one was sure quite to expect in what turned into a political rally. Nearly 800 of America's top military leaders were summoned from around the globe, apolitical officers who remained silent as their commander-in-chief took the stage and offered this greeting.
You can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future.
That set the tone for more awkward moments to come, including the president's suggestion that dangerous U.S. cities like those where National Guard are currently deployed should be used as training grounds for U.S. troops.
This is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within.
Illinois Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Iraq War veteran, said Trump's proposal is illegal
and unconstitutional. You cannot deploy our military onto the streets of our cities.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth opened the meeting and ripped into diversity initiatives put in place by previous administrations.
This was actually a W. I agree with this 100%. The fact that we are more focused on, making people feel good with diversity and inclusion at the cost of weakening our military is absolutely retarded. So I actually agree with him on this. And one of the things they beat him up on, if you guys remember when Pete Hegseth was getting confirmed by the Senate and they were questioning him, one of the things they attacked him on was, his comments about women in the military. But, he's right. He's right. Like, yeah, bro, we gotta move a little bit different. Like having women in the military just to have women in the military while simultaneously lowering standards, that doesn't benefit anybody at all. So I think he kept it real. And I think that's by far the best way to do it because hold on, guys. Okay. That's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it because obviously, you know, how pissed off would you be if you're like in the military and like you get shot or hit and some woman is next to you and she can't drag you to safety, bro? Fucking ridiculous. One military standard, man.
Administrations. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more.
That's not my audio, guys. That's their fucking audio.
Climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions.
That includes, he said, a return to the highest male physical fitness standards.
I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms.
Facts.
Physical standards as men.
And it's crazy it took Pete Hegseth to come in and fucking do this shit, bro, and say it.
And he took aim at the highest ranking officers.
It's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon.
Facts.
And leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look.
Vermont Democrat Peter Welch said the meeting was unnecessary.
Yeah, bro, your leadership is representative of the organization. You got to lead by fucking example. Bro, bro. Did I not say if I became Fuhrer what I would do on day one? Huh? What did I tell you guys? Day one, if I become Fuhrer, bro. Oh, Lord. I'm ending obesity on day one. Okay? Day one. Everyone's all fucking worried about ICE kidnapping niggas with masks. Bro, I'll take it to the next level. The day is January 20th, 2044. I'm getting sworn in as Fuhrer of the United States. As I'm sitting there with my hand up like this, I already got niggas masked up, raiding every fucking Burger King and McDonald's in America. Okay? They're going in there. You thought it was ICE? Ha! No, it's not. It's the fat police. And they're coming in and kidnapping anybody in these motherfuckers. Oh, you like fried chicken? Come with us. Oh, you think Kool-Aid is a great fucking drink to parch your thirst? You're coming with us. Oh, you drink calories? You're coming with us. You like McDonald's fries? You're coming with us. I'm going to have my secret fucking fat police kidnapping niggas all over the country. They're all going to wake up after being blindfolded. And all they're going to hear is... They're going to wake up in a dark-ass room. Right? It's going to be like Saw. Remember the movie Saw? When fucking Jigsaw just rides in with the little fucking bike? Right? Jigsaw's going to ride in with a little bike like this. Sound's going to play again. All these fat niggas are not going to know why they're there. They look around and sees the fat people. They don't know how the hell they got there. Who kidnapped them? The chloroform was really high quality that we used. The lights turn on. And the fucking Saw doll tells them, for years, you've wasted away your life. Being a fat piece of shit eating fried food. Avoiding exercise. Exercising gluttony. Well, today... you're going to learn to appreciate the gifts given to you. Live or die. That's your choice. Next year, you're going to see another fatso who also pissed away his opportunity to be in shape. You're going to fight that individual. And then after you're done, we're going to provide you with healthy nourishment of protein and kale. No! Niggas are going to start freaking out. Fuck! Shit! shit. Next thing you know, a bunch of fucking drill instructors are gonna walk in that bitch, tell them niggas to start doing jumping jacks. They're gonna start playing some fucking disco music. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Making these niggas exercise. They're sitting there doing fucking jumping jacks. And them niggas are getting 0 carbs post-meal. Just protein and vegetables. And they can't leave the camp until they get under a BMI of 30. That's what'll happen if I become Fuhrer. I go way further than your boy Hegseth.
Necessary and a bad idea.
Fat camps coming back.
It's a further effort to politicize the military. It's very, very alarming. There is no reason to bring all of these people at enormous taxpayer expense to Washington to get a pep talk.
Hegseth told the audience they could disagree with him, but
The words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Charlie, we did not hear any reaction from the generals and the admirals in the room. Take us through why that's the case.
Bro, they gonna say shit. Of course not.
Well, Maurice, it's part of the decorum of protocol for officers not to applaud or cheer during political events or even some rallies. But while there were a few smiles, a bit of laughter,
They're gonna shut the fuck up.
Here and there to some of the things that President Trump was saying, some polite applause. For the most part, the room was silent through roughly 2 hours of speeches.
Charlie, the Secretary Hegseth is reviewing the military handling of hazing, bullying, harassment. Explain what that's about.
Yeah, so this is an overhaul, and pardon me for reading. So Secretary Hegseth, there should be an overhaul of department policy defining the conduct by service members, and that includes hazing, bullying, harassment. It's clearly broad and promising to dismiss the records of tough leaders with past infractions.
All right. Quick word from our sponsors, ninjas. They banned me on Instagram. They demonetized me on YouTube. They banned me on Facebook. They banned me on
Please
Twitch.
take
The ADL and the
Good
SPLC
evening,
put me on their hit list, as well as Media Matters. That tells you everything you need to know. They don't want you to hear what I have to say. And that's exactly why the OSS Army exists. The OSS is my uncensored army, where the truth prevails over all the lies. But OSS isn't just content, guys. It's a movement. It doesn't feel like a group. It's a force. It's an army. Inside the community, you connect with like-minded individuals that aren't afraid to question the narrative. 46,000 plus strong, pushing towards 10,000. Every new member makes the message louder, and they can't censor all of us. This is where you can speak freely and not have to be worried about being judged, fired, labeled a hater, anti-Semite, misogynist, or any of these other stupid-ass buzz terms that they like to use for people that are critical thinkers. The movement goes beyond the live stream. We build a community. We're able to have discussions. We're able to go ahead and interact with each other the way that we want, where we don't have to worry about censorship. We have a Telegram group where you can connect with like-minded guys. We have a Discord that's completely free, and we do one annual meetup per year in Miami on 420. You'll also get access to exclusive live streams you won't find on YouTube, call-in portions of the show, and other goodies that you won't find anywhere else. And even the merch is a part of the mission. But it's not about fashion. It's about an identity. You have the ability to think critically and challenge the narrative. High quality Nike gear, and not ridiculously branded, that allows you to identify each other without being too overt and understanding that you know what the hell is up. So you can go ahead and move covertly with your red pill awareness compared to other blue pill normies. All of this for just $10 a month, or you can join for the year. Use JFK 911 as the promo code, and you get in for $50 for the year. This isn't just content. It's resistance, it's culture, and it's freedom. It's the OSS Army. And guys, running a special right now. Jews did 9/11. Use the code, guys. Okay. Use the code. Get in. Take advantage of it while you guys can. Also, we got our merch drop that we just did. As you guys know, I got my Let 'em Cook hoodie. One of my favorite ones. If you know, you know when it comes to the Cookie Monster. Here, let's see some of this PBS coverage as well with the speech, because I think there might have been some stuff we missed. But yeah, guys, join OSS. It's how I stay fucking independent. As you guys know, YouTube is fucking robbing me because I hate YouTube. AKA JTube. So yeah.
Today, President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke to nearly the entire...
Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and read some of these chats so I don't let them pile up. Okay, Stiff Vision says, also another perk that you guys get, bro, you can just donate $1 into the show. All these super chats that I'm reading, they're just $1, by the way, chat. So you get your voice heard for donating $1 to the show. Meanwhile, if you don't come in through OSS, You send in a Rumble Rant or MyronGainsX.com. That's the other way you could donate. It's 10 and up. Someone said, Myron, talking about the government shutdown. Bro, dude, the government shuts down all the time. You know how many times I fucking have been when I worked in the government, they shut the government down, bro? It happens all the fucking time. They're going to come to a resolution, bro. And then you'll get back pay. It's really, this is normal everyday shit, bro. That's basically that is basically the government shutdown summarized. Okay, Stiffish just says, Myron, on the have 50 bodies or more stance, I advise you add spending at the least amount of time and money as possible. Also, congrats on learning Arab, your boy from Peru. Okay. Well, I grew up, with the language parents. My ass stinks. Okay, nice name. He says, Candace went in today? Okay, I didn't see it. I was in the military. Most people in America do not even know the simple fact the military is a foreign and domesticated terrorism. Okay. Pump and Dump says, sign me up for fat camp. I'll volunteer as a tribute. I'm not obese anymore, but I'm definitely still overweight. Down just over 100 pounds in a year and a half, though. Good stuff, Pump and Dump. BJJ says, LOL, Myron, you started a new federal agency called the FSP, Fat Special Police. Facts. That's what it'd be called. Kiyorami says, Debbie Stream, I agree with you. I agree with your point on fat concentration camps for fat people, especially in America, and keep splitting facts. Appreciate that, bro. JustMo554 says, Myron, eventually Islam is going to take over America. We already conquered Europe. America is next, like it or not. Well, bro, that's precisely the problem. And that's why people are fighting back against it. I mean, look, man, I don't want America to become a Muslim majority country, bro. I'll be honest with you. And I say that as a guy that's a Muslim, bro. There's already a bunch of Muslim countries already, bro. You know, there's already a bunch. Why do they need to take this one too? You know? Like, I just don't understand why guys get so like, bro, if you guys are so devout and religious and you guys want to hear the Adhan every day, like, just move to the Middle East. Like, bro, there's lots of good countries in the Middle East that you can go to. Take your US passport and you're good. Like, why do y'all got to come in and invade and take this shit over, bro? EMAC James says, yo ass sticks. Yeah, no, that was the guy's name.
Senior Officer Corps of the military. It was an unprecedented gathering at a Marine base just south of Washington.
Hegseth announced.
And then, of course, like, I got some retards in the chat. Super Rick says, you're not Muslim, you sleep brown. And then Nora says, you ain't Muslim. All right, bro. All right, bro. Like, these niggas are idiots, bro. And then you guys wonder why everyone writes El-Islam all the time. You niggas are an embarrassment to all of us, bro.
New directives. And as Nick Schifrin reports, the president laid out.
So fucking insufferable, bro. Like, yo, this is why if I was ever to become devout and start praying, I would never tell you bitch ass niggas, bro. I would never do it. The haram police are the most annoying people on the internet ever. I see how you guys fucking annoy Sneako. Bro, you niggas are the worst. Absolute fucking worst. I don't think anybody, if they decide to become closer to God and become religious, should ever announce that shit to you bitch ass niggas. You guys are the worst, dude. Absolute fucking worst. Fucking insufferable, bro. Always criticizing, always critiquing, always fucking nitpicking on every little fucking thing. You guys are the fucking worst. Some dude says, well, if they're Americans but Islam first and America second, Myron Gaines, would you say the same about people like us that are Christian first and America second? Look, bro, the reason why it's called the separation of church and state, there's a reason for that. But at the end of the day, it's indisputable that this country was founded upon Christians. So, you know, it is what it is. Whoever founds the land dictates the pace. You know, we wouldn't go to fucking Saudi Arabia and tell them they need to start building churches. We would never do that.
Out a vision to use the military, not.
All I'm saying is exercise that same respect over here. Christians don't go to Muslim land and say, yo, you niggas need to build churches and speak English and give women rights. I kid with the women's rights thing. But all jokes aside, we don't go, like, you know, Westerners don't go to these countries and tell them what to do. Why the fuck should people come over here and try to tell us what to do?
Against overseas enemies, but for threats he sees here at home.
Not aluminum.
Today.
A shout out to Winners Media says, Myron is defending Muslims more than anyone I know mainstream wise, yet it's still not enough to. Yeah, bro. Again, the haram police are the most annoying, insufferable community on the internet, bro. They're the worst. And they still be coming in here. Like, I be telling them, get the fuck out of my chat. I don't like y'all niggas. But they still in here. Sneako finish streaming, and then they come over here trying to fucking give me their annoying takes as if their fucking opinions matter.
Today, speaking to a sea of generals and admirals whose experience was forged by 2 decades of foreign wars, the commander-in-chief.
Myron throwing Muslims under the bus saying we're going to take over? What the? Are you retarded? Dude. All right, bro. I'm going to just have to fucking... Some of you niggas are retarded, bro.
Said their chief enemy was domestic.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
The Trump administration has deployed active-duty Marines and National Guard to Los Angeles, as well as guardsmen to Washington, D.C., but they've spent more time strolling than training. And President Trump vows to deploy troops into Chicago, Memphis, and Portland.
Defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within.
For years, the senior officers in today's room not only led troops in Iraq and Afghanistan and Special Operations Forces troops across more than 80 countries, they've also been trained and educated all their careers to believe the U.S. military should not be deployed against fellow Americans. And the few exceptions have been managed by the National Guard, who, outside of D.C., are led by state authorities. But that is not President Trump's vision.
It's a war from within. Controlling the physical territory of our border is essential to national security.
And this morning, he warned what would happen to officers who resist.
I'm going to be meeting with generals and with admirals and with leaders. And if I don't like somebody, I'm going to fire them right on the spot.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
For 45 minutes before President Trump, Secretary Pete Hegseth told the gathered generals and admirals that he was, in his words, ending the war on warriors.
In many ways, this speech is about
Shout out to Stunt 1001 with the gifted. Appreciate you, bro.
fixing decades of decay.
Hegseth today issued 11 new memorandums, many about fitness. Requirements for each combat specialty changed to, quote, the highest male standard only. Physical fitness tests for all service members would be changed to, quote, male standards.
Nice.
And grooming requirements would be enforced.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops.
Yeah, and not only that, bro. When they did that fucking march, dude, that march was so fucking, it looked so terrible. Made the U.S. military look so fucking weak. Meanwhile, the Chinese military is moving way better. See if I could find it for you guys. It's kind of fucking embarrassing. I can see why he called all these guys in.
Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Hegseth also vowed to overhaul equal opportunity, military equal opportunity, and the inspectors general who investigate misconduct. Hegseth has long argued that the Biden administration was too focused on ensuring military diversity, but critics of today's speech say Hegseth's version of lethality is misdefined.
By changing the standard to the highest male combat arms physical fitness, lethality would go down because talent would decrease.
Haley Gibbons is a former Army Ranger who met the same requirements as male Rangers and says there should be different requirements for different military occupational specialties known as MOSs.
Having different standards for different MOSs allows for creative minds, intelligent people, specialized skills. One of the main aspects of lethality is unit cohesion.
Here we go. Women trying to water down shit as usual.
And that is built on trust, shared hardship, and leadership, not if you can deadlift a 350-pound barbell.
Hegseth has fired the top U.S. general, who is black, and the Navy's top admiral, who is a woman. He said they and others went too far in embracing, quote, woke policies. But Gibbons says the Army defines leadership differently.
Being a leader is influencing people, giving them purpose, direction, and motivation to accomplish a goal.
Yeah, see, she's giving the female version for it. See, there's a difference. Actually, I don't know if you guys are catching on here. We'll keep playing this real quick.
By not creating space for diverse minds, different backgrounds, different genders, we are narrowing our ability to operate effectively.
Okay, so here's the difference between men and women. It's interesting that she said that. So when it comes to men and our dominance hierarchies, we go off of meritocracy. Men understand the guy that's the best is the guy that should be the leader. For some odd reason, women don't understand this meritocracy. Okay? It's like they're allergic to it. Like men understand, okay, Tom did the best job, he gets paid the most. Jim did the second best, he gets paid the second most. Dylan did the third best, he gets paid the third most. Like men naturally understand this hierarchy shit, right? Women don't for some odd reason. They just don't. That's why she's coming up with some bullshit like, oh yeah, we need to have diverse leadership because, you know, being a leader isn't just like being XYZ. No, bro. Men only respect other men that are able to do things that they cannot. Does that make sense? So if you're going to have a fighting force in the military that's male-dominated, guess what? It needs to adhere to this meritocracy hierarchy-based system, not this I am capable system. No, bro. You earn your position, one standard. That's it. Okay? And let me show you guys what I mean. Right? Look at the difference between the American military and the Chinese military. Right? This is honestly, this is a big reason why Hegseth probably called this meeting.
Wake up!
See, I don't see any fatties in here. All men, don't see no fat asses.
Era of air mobility, fierce firefights, and unwavering brotherhood. And thrive in hostile.
Okay. Show you some more China, then we're going to go to the U.S. All right, now look at some of the marching U.S. Bro, this looks like shit. I can already see a bunch of fat asses not marching in unison.
As they march by, a soldier's uniform signals.
You got women in here.
Their duty, their role, and their readiness. And by the late 1850s, official regulations outlined distinct looks shaping the Army's identity.
Look, you can already see a bunch of fat asses. Just from, even with this poor quality, you can see, or you can already see a bunch of fat niggas.
In function across the force, soldiers were issued 2 coats. One, a short sack coat for work and battle, with brass buttons and colored trim that marked their rank. Well, by war's end, that rugged sack coat became the soldier.
And look, guys, if you're an American and you love your country, you need to be able to fucking, look at this and be like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on? Right? Meanwhile, look at this. I don't see no fucking fat dudes marching in perfect fucking unison. Guys, I'm glad that Hegseth called this meeting. Because here's the thing. He's looking at our adversaries, right? And he's like, what the fuck? Why do you guys think Pete Hegseth got the name changed to the Department of War? He changed it from the Department of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. He's putting in these fitness standards. Why is he doing this? Because China is a rising fucking power. I've been telling y'all for years that we need to keep our eye on China. I've been telling you guys, we need to stop fucking around in the Middle East, chasing a bunch of fucking Arab niggas, and focused on Asia. I've been saying that forever. Right? We're wasting our time with these fucking Afghanis and these Iraqis and Iranians. Nah, bro. The real threat is fucking China. They're growing at an insane rate. They're becoming incredibly self-sufficient. They have a strong military. They have nuclear weapons. They have a huge fighting force. And then you look at how their military marches versus ours. Look, I know that we got superior weaponry and we have the strongest military right now. But in order for us to maintain that, we have to keep our standards high and get rid of the fucking fat. Okay? So yeah, I'm glad that fucking Hegseth called this meeting and told people, yo, we're getting rid of this woke shit. We're going to change our name back to the Department of War. We're going to have a posture where we are a lethal fighting force. No more DEI. No more fucking double standards for females. No more woke bullshit. Meritocracy based only. And that's honestly the way that it should be in the military. It's literally life or death. How fucking pissed off would you be if you're fucking in combat and you get hit and you need to be dragged to safety and some woman is there? Bro, you're like, no, you might as well, man, it's over. It's over. R.I.P. R.I.P. So is it worth watering down our military for fairness, for diversity? Bullshit, bro. Absolute bullshit. This is what we got to compete against, man. Bro, y'all see this shit, bro? Again.
That rugged.
Look at our guys marching.
Sack coat became the soldier's uniform of choice. The 101st Airborne Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, traces its lineage back to 1918 when it first established as the 101st Division, known for their ability
Now look at their fucking marching.
to rapidly deploy across the
Night and fucking day, guys. Night and day. Okay? And the fact that they're marching like this, what does this tell you? I know some smooth brain retards in here. Well, Myron, they're just marching. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have a strong fighting force. And that is how I know that you're a smooth brain fucking retard. Them marching in cadence doesn't signify that they're a better military retard. What it signifies is they have strict standards. You see where I'm going with this? The marching is nothing more than an outward manifestation of the discipline that their fighting force puts on their soldiers. Do you get it? If they're disciplined on something as minuscule as marching, what else are they fucking disciplined in? Does that make sense, chat? If they can march in a cadence like this, what else do they have up their sleeve that also operates on cadence? Very fucking important. You got to pay attention to the details, guys. So, people need to wake up. China's rising, and they're rising fast. I think that they're our biggest threat. And if we don't get our fucking shit together, it's going to create problems. See, and of course, some idiot in the chat, Myron, this is not a step quad contest. Bro, honestly, dude, so, it amazes me how many idiots I got. Bro, YouTube chat is filled with retards. Every time I look at YouTube chat, there's one or two niggas in there that are just saying some retarded shit, bro. Retarded. Retarded niggas in the YouTube chat, bro. Incredible. 50 IQ, motherfuckers. If you don't understand that China's a threat, bro, you're just a smooth-brained idiot, dude. They're by far the fucking biggest threat, bro. And if you actually understand geopolitics and you care about this country, you need to be able to admit that and understand that this is what we're up against. Pete Hegseth didn't call these motherfuckers in out of nowhere, chat. Trust me. Okay? People joining the military had the lowest signups during the Biden administration. We had a whole bunch of DEI. We have individuals there. We don't even know what their gender in high positions in the military. They can't march in fucking cadence. We got a bunch of fat people. We got a bunch of unqualified women. Meanwhile, you look at our adversaries. They're in shape. They're marching in cadence. They have very similar, if not just as sophisticated weaponry as we do. And there's a reason why you guys don't see shit like this on mainstream media. You guys notice that? You don't see shit like this on CNN or Fox. You don't see none of this shit. They'll show you the stupid-ass military anniversary march where the soldiers are fat and walking out of cadence, but they won't show you this shit. To deny China is a growing, rising power, and our biggest threat is to deny reality. And honestly, if you don't love this country, like, you're probably going to overstep or ignore that shit. But I want America to win and stay the world power. In order for us to stay the world power, we must make sure that we keep an eye on whoever's in second place. And I'm telling you, China's closing the gap, bro. They're absolutely closing the gap. Don't believe the Western propaganda they show you. Shanghai is fucking a marvel. China is more advanced than us in many different ways. We need to catch up, or we need to at least distance ourselves from them, continue to innovate, make our fighting force more lethal, and step our game up. And if you're an idiot in the chat saying like, oh, nah, bro, it's not that important, then you're just a smooth-brained retard, bro. You're just a smooth-brained fucking retard, and you don't understand what's really going on in the world. And you're adding to the stereotype that most Americans are retards, which is, very true, unfortunately. Completely unaware of foreign affairs and what we're up against. The threat isn't the Middle East, bro. It's China. All right, let's get back to it.
It is not clear how much today's gathering cost, but given that generals and admirals flew from around the world, some estimates run in the millions of dollars.
Some idiot says, oh, nah, bro, it's not that important. Lil NyQuil. Bro, change your name to fucking little retard. It's not that important. Idiot, bro.
For more perspective, we turn to former Captain Margaret Donovan. She's a former assistant U.S. attorney and Army lawyer who deployed to Iraq and Syria, where she provided legal advice on more than 1,000 airstrikes and other lethal engagements. She's now in private practice and a visiting lecturer at Yale Law School. Thanks very much, Margaret Donovan. Welcome to the NewsHour. What's your reaction to President Trump's comments that I played earlier?
Some retard says, Jada says, you're a Fed, we don't trust you. All right. Victim number 2. Jaden, go ahead. Tell me why you don't trust me because I'm a Fed, retard. What the fuck does that have to do with this conversation? If I was a Fed and I was here to just push out a whole bunch of propaganda, wouldn't I say that, oh, no, we're great, we don't got to worry about anything? Wouldn't I say we are going to destroy China, we don't need to worry about shit? Don't you think I kind of come in with that narrative versus giving the uncomfortable truth about where China stands geopolitically and militarily? So, Jaden, you step up, motherfucker. Dude said, you're a Fed, we don't trust you. And he spelled your with you-are. And he's black. So go take it easy on him, guys. He obviously hasn't used hooked on phonics before. Go ahead and explain to me how I'm a Fed and we don't trust you. What does that have to do with anything? Let's go, Jaden. We're waiting. I got to cook at least 3 of you dumbass niggas in YouTube chat once a show or twice a show. Let's go, bro. Smooth brain Jaden, we're waiting. You're a Fed, we don't trust you. Okay. You think you're an Arab, they call you ABD. And in case you guys are wondering, this is the guy that's saying this stupid shit. This dumbass nigga right here. All right, Jaden, is that your final answer? Is that your final answer? You think you're an Arab, they call you ABD? All right. All right. That one was easy.
Fatality. Earlier in the story, that quote, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for...
Yeah, you troll niggas, bro, and just keep putting y'all niggas on blast like that, bro. Hooked on phonics, dumbass nigga, man.
Our military, our National Guard.
Sure. I think my reaction is probably a combination of shock and embarrassment.
Identify the feminist.
On one hand, you have the Secretary of Defense, who is saying lethality, lethality, lethality. He wants the troops to be more lethal. And then on the other hand, you have the President of the United States saying, I want training to happen in American cities. So how exactly are they going to train the military on becoming more lethal in American cities? None of that makes sense. It's extremely dangerous. And
she's reading way too much into it. When he says, I want them to be lethal, that doesn't mean that they're actually going to kill people. That means we need you to be hard to kill. We need you to be a competent and dangerous individual, right? When I was in the police academy or the agent academy, they told us every single day, you need to become hard to kill. What does that mean? You need to be in good shape. You need to be good with your firearms. You need to be practicing. You need to be training. Being lethal doesn't mean that you're actually going to kill people, retard. It means you have the capability of killing people. That's what's important.
troops should not be normalizing that behavior.
But if the president...
See, and this is exactly why... See, guys, bro, this woman is proving my point why women just can't be in the military or be in positions like this. They don't understand this meritocracy, life or death type paradigm within the military structure. They just don't understand it.
The president is going to...
They interpret everything through their feelings.
...deploy the U.S. military into these cities, and he's already done that, and he's got a series of cities that he vows to do that again. Why not make training part of that mission as well?
Because the military is not designed for domestic operations. Law enforcement is designed for keeping cities safe, crowd control, the things that I think is what the administration wants to use it for. Let me explain that when the military deploys, for example, before a unit goes on a combat deployment, they receive training on the rules of engagement. They learn about, for example, what is the declared hostile force? Who can we kill and how can we kill them? How do we engage the enemy, right? They're not receiving training on how to apply the First Amendment to protesters in a foreign country. So we can't expect the military to understand how to apply what would normally be overseas rules of engagement to a domestic training environment, like the United States with its constitutional protections of its citizens.
Stepping back, how unusual is it? How much does it go against the norms of decades of training and education that the generals and admirals who are in Quantico today, that the commander-in-chief says, quote, the military's first and most important priority is defending the homeland?
You know, I think the military's priority is defending the homeland, but the problem is the military's priority is protecting American citizens. American citizens are not the enemy, and the message that the president seems to be sending is that there is an enemy within. That is not true. Soldiers are training to protect American citizens from foreign adversaries. They are training to defend the Constitution. So that is incorrect to say that the enemy is in the country, and that is something that the military has to be prepared for. It stands against everything, every norm, every ethic, every moral that these military commanders have developed, learned, and hopefully imposed on their junior soldiers throughout their careers.
To your point, after the attacks on Pearl Harbor and 9/11, Congress passed laws that demanded the president use the military for forward defense. Of course, the idea being that if we attack them there, we will not be attacked at home. Again, how different is President Trump's vision of the military from those two historical examples?
Yeah, precisely. We're talking about foreign adversaries, right? We want to be able to defend the homeland from foreign adversaries, from foreign threats. What he's talking about now, or what he seems to be alluding to, is some type of internal enemy that doesn't actually exist, right? Soldiers need to remember when they're seeing this on TV, when they're getting their training, what is the oath that they took? Who are they sworn to protect and defend? What are they supposed to do to uphold the Constitution? And these are the questions that they need to be asking themselves when they receive orders that they question are unlawful. And I imagine that the commanders who heard that speech today are wondering the exact same thing. What am I supposed to tell my soldiers that the president is going so far off base? And the other thing that you should remember is this is a president who has really a passing understanding of what the military is about, right? Everything that he's
Yo, this chick just doesn't like Trump, bro, and Hegseth.
learned about the U.S. military, he has learned from the movies. So it's kind of no surprise that he doesn't really know what he's talking about, that he thinks you can direct the military to do this or that and not,
He's a commander-in-chief. He can do what he wants. Shut up, woman.
stay in accordance with the law.
As commander-in-chief, he literally is the head of the U.S. Armed Forces. Him and Hegseth run the military however the fuck they want.
The constitutional intent for the military, for example, that only Congress can declare war. So it's kind of no surprise that he's misdirected here. And you just hope that the senior military officials recognize that and can respond accordingly with the leadership skills that they have.
Margaret Donovan, former JAG and of Yale Law School. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bro, a lot of these chicks just hate Trump, bro. That's what it comes down to. Okay, we covered the parades. Okay, we could cover a little bit on Andrew's case. As you guys know, one of some of Andrew's case was dropped, so we'll cover a little bit of this. Cover a little bit of this.
Is from decades ago.
The Crown Prosecution Service said today that the legal test to bring criminal charges had not been met in that case specifically. Well, Andrew Tate joins me now to discuss this. Andrew Tate, welcome.
And then we're also going to cover the Charlie Kirk shit here. I don't know where the fuck the letter went. All right, I'll find the letter.
Back to Uncensored. Just to be clear, so for those who have not been following the multiple cases that you've been involved with, tell me what it is that you've been addressed with today in relation to these specific charges.
Yeah, for anyone who's not been following, I can make it very simple. I became the most Googled man in the world, and I was saying things they didn't like, and all of a sudden, every single country I'd ever stepped foot in started attacking me with all these strange legal cases from decades ago. And the process is the punishment. You and I have been speaking for a long time. We're old friends. And every time we speak, there seems to be some new case against me, and you quite, rightly say, we'll wait to see what happens in court. And here we are 4 or 5 years later, and they all fall by the wayside. So every single member of parliament, Vice News, BBC, every single person who said they've spoken to my victims has spoken to one of these girls. And the CBS has just said that these girls don't even have enough evidence to allow me to be charged, proving that they were lying all along. We know that people lie, both men and women, especially where there's a financial incentive. So this is just one step closer to my complete exoneration, sir.
Okay, but as I understand it, and correct me if your understanding is different to this, as I understand it, this is one case involving 4 women who are concurrently running a high court civil case against you. So they will have their case in a civil case, but it won't be criminal now. But that doesn't impact the other constabulary, which brought 21 charges against you and your brother Tristan earlier this year, right? That's still ongoing and still separate to this.
That's correct. So these 4 girls, they did a crowdfund and they begged the world for money. And they spoke to loads of MPs and Vice News, et cetera. And it turns out they have no evidence at all. They begged the world for money. And now they're suing me for money. They're desperate for money. And then they went to the police. And
Also, guys, we're going to talk about TikTok as well. TikTok has already started banning certain words, man. Okay. TikTok has been procured by Israel, chat. Okay. So we're going to talk about that as well. We could talk about that next.
The police said they have no evidence. So that's all gone. The reason that the case against...
Also, guys, do me a favor. You guys know I hate JTube. So smash that like button. Let's get to 2,000 plus likes on here. We got about almost 4,000 to 5,000 you guys watching. So do me a favor. Smash that like button on YouTube.
Against me here with these 4 girls was thrown out. It's because I know who the 4 girls are.
Yeah, TikTok banned the juice emoji, and they also banned the word APAC. Bro, didn't I not predict to you guys that this was going to happen?
So I simply just sent the text messages. Remember, I've been investigated. I haven't resisted any investigations. I'm one of the most investigated men on the planet. I'm more innocent than probably everyone else in that studio because I've been investigated head to toe. I have cooperated with the police. I provided proof. I provided text message conversations that these girls are lying, and the case was thrown out. The other case you're describing with the 21 charges from forever ago, the CPS won't tell me who the girls are because they know if they tell me who the girls are, then I will prove that the girls are lying before they can charge, remand, drag me through a trial. So their intention is to not tell me who they are, which is incredible to me, that they're saying you're charged and you need to go to jail. We want to remand you. Here's an extradition warrant, but we won't tell you who the people are. So I can't possibly defend myself because that's a setup. That's a matrix attack. But once I find out who they are, that case will once again be dismissed, just like this one was.
Okay.
And
no, I'm going to make the point. I just want to be clear to viewers who are trying to follow all this because it's complicated.
Yeah.
That there
it's
is
complicated, and I hate to interrupt you, sir, because I want you to talk. The only reason it's complicated is because they're trying very hard to drag up imaginary cases from the sky, and they keep collapsing. It'd be very simple if I'd done something wrong.
Well, it is
if you do something wrong, you go to jail.
No, but I think it's important to use the correct language about what has happened here. It is a significant development. Clearly, the case that was brought against you by Hertfordshire.
Everything that gets brought against the Tates like falls by the wayside like a year or two later. Have you guys noticed that?
Police involving these 4 women, they have said they couldn't find evidence that met the bar for a criminal prosecution against you. It doesn't mean they can't continue these 4 women to continue the civil case against you, and it has no bearing as we sit here on the separate case brought against you by Bedfordshire Police, which the CPS announced separately in May, where it authorised 21 charges against you and Tristan, which included 10 against you relating to 3 alleged victims, including rape, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. Tristan faces 11 charges connected to 1 alleged victim, including rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking. So that is ongoing. Nothing that's happened today has any bearing on that prosecution by Bedfordshire Police. That's correct.
That's correct. And the reason that's ongoing, unlike the other one from Hertfordshire Police, is because they won't tell me who these victims are. And they won't because they know I'll get it thrown out in a week. I'll just say, well, here's the text messages proving they're lying. That's the end of the case, just like happened with the Bedfordshire one. So, correct. These girls can still sue me civilly. I can sue you civilly for having a terrible shirt, sir. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, they're desperate for money. I'm a very famous, very rich, very handsome, very charismatic, very well-known, very tall, very sexy individual. And lots of people want my money. And that's
the fact that he says that with a straight face, like on you know, obviously like a big broadcast like this show is hilarious, man.
That's fine. They're going to lose in civil case too because they know they've done nothing wrong, and the CPS has already said I've done nothing wrong twice now. So it is what it is. It's just, you know, it's quite interesting, Piers.
Andrew has a very good skill set with telling jokes while keeping a straight face on, and people don't know if he's serious or not. People like that don't watch his normal content or know how he speaks. They think like, wait, what?
If I was truly guilty of crimes, imagine how frustrating it would be to watch me for 4 years never go to jail. I mean, it's obvious to the whole world now that the process is the punishment for me, that I've never done anything wrong. Everyone knows I've done nothing wrong. The whole purpose of this is just to drag me to court, slander me in the media, make me spend money on lawyers, tie me up in litigation, restrict my movements. And that's all they're trying to do. The process itself is the punishment. They know I've done nothing wrong from the beginning. And you have sons too. And I like to believe that if your son was accused by all these different states from all around the world of all these heinous acts for 4 years, and he had to suffer jail and house arrest and lose all his money and have his name slandered, 4 years later, when all the cases started falling by the wayside, because the Los Angeles case has also fallen apart and collapsed, you yourself as a father would be standing there saying, this is incredible, this is insane, that we have an innocent man here who's just endlessly attacked.
Well, look, as I've said to you repeatedly, I don't know whether you're guilty or not. I follow the process. I'm a journalist. I don't look upon it as a father or someone that knows you or any of these things. To me, the fair and proper way is called due process. And my only concern with you is, have you been afforded due process? What is interesting to me is the length of time this is all taking. That doesn't seem to me to be normal. You do hear stories like it, but it seems to me out of the norm. And it's certainly significant today that the criminal prosecution against you by one of these 2 British police constabularies has now been dropped, leaving a civil case there. That is clearly not an irrelevant fact as you and I debate this whole scenario surrounding you. But my question with the Bedfordshire Police, from a legal perspective, are they obliged to tell you who the accusers are?
Well, that's what's so interesting. So you made a fantastic point there about this taking so long. The reason it's taking so long is because these cases are imaginary and they're stretching to the very, very limits of the law to try and pin something on my name. If I had done something wrong, it wouldn't be taking so long. So it's pretty obvious to anyone with a brain now that this is all a setup from the state. As for Bedfordshire, they are legally obliged to tell me who the victims are, the supposed alleged victims, but they only have to do that once I have been remanded. And if I go to the UK, I'll be remanded after this extradition warrant is executed, but that can't be executed currently.
Hey guys, we're at 1270 likes, man. We need to hit 2,500. Okay, I don't want to hold the show hostage. But I need you ninjas to like the video right now. Or else I'll get off of JTube. Because you guys know I fucking hate this platform. I tell you guys this every day. That I hate YouTube. Because I actually do. So smash that goddamn like button right now. Smash it right now, guys.
Currently, because the Romanian state.
We're sitting at 1293. Let's get to 2,500 ninjas. Matter of fact, I'm going to run an ad just because you guys don't want to fucking like the video. God damn it. Like the video, ninjas. They demonetized me on YouTube. They banned me on Facebook. They banned me on Twitch. The ADL and the SPLC put me on their hit list, as well as Media Matters. That tells you everything you need to know. They don't want you to hear what I have to say. And that's exactly why the OSS Army exists. The OSS is my uncensored army, where the truth prevails over all the lies. But OSS isn't just content, guys. It's a movement. It doesn't feel like a group. It's a force. It's an army. Inside the community, you connect with like-minded individuals that aren't afraid to question the narrative. 46,000 plus strong, pushing towards 10,000. Every new member makes the message louder, and they can't censor all of us. This is where you can speak freely and not have to be worried about being judged, fired, labeled a hater, anti-Semite, misogynist, or any of these other stupid-ass buzz terms that they like to use for people that are critical thinkers. The movement goes beyond the live stream. We build a community. We're able to have discussions. We're able to go ahead and interact with each other the way that we want, where we don't have to worry about censorship. We have a Telegram group where you can connect with like-minded guys. We have a Discord that's completely free, and we do one annual meetup per year in Miami on 420. You'll also get access to exclusive live streams you won't find on YouTube, call-in portions of the show, and other goodies that you won't find anywhere else. And even the merch is a part of the mission. But it's not about fashion, it's about an identity. You have the ability to think critically and challenge the narrative. High quality Nike gear, and not ridiculously branded, that allows you to identify each other without being too overt and understanding that you know what the hell is up. So you can go ahead and move covertly with your red pill awareness compared to other blue pill normies. All of this for just $10 a month, or you can join for the year, use JFK 911 as a promo code, and you get in for $50 for the year. This isn't just content, it's resistance, it's culture, and it's freedom. It's the OSS Army. All right, and use the code JSDID911, guys, to be able to get in. Let's keep watching this thing here. We're at 1,300 ninjas. Let's get to 2,500.
Has a case against me for tax evasion, which will take at least 10 to 11 years. So this is something that's going to take 10 or 11 more years to eventually be satisfied. It's pretty ridiculous all in all. The whole thing is asinine, and I've done nothing wrong. And it's just crazy that the process itself is the punishment. We're going through all this garbage for so many years. And I like to think, and I respect your point of view. You made a very great point. You're a journalist. You follow the updates. Completely correct. That's a very professional way to handle it. But I think also we're human. And from a humanistic perspective, anybody with a functioning mind can look at what's happened to me across these last 4 years and come to the conclusion they were.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody at this point is, you know, even if you're not an Andrew Tate supporter, like, you got to at least question, like, hold on. These guys have been under persecution for how many years now? You know, they took their cars, then they gave it back. They took their money, then they gave it back. You know, this case gets dropped, this case gets dropped, or this charge gets dismissed, this charge gets dismissed. I think at this point, man, even the biggest Tate haters can acknowledge the fact that this is lawfare at this point, right? Because if he was as guilty as they said, he would have been thrown in prison by now. But the fact that this is still going on for so long, guys, mind you, don't forget, guys, this happened at the end of 2022. The Tates got arrested at the end of 2022. How do I know this? Because I remember that I was in Romania with them 2 months before they got picked up by DICOT. We were there like all of the month of October. A month or two later, in late December, right before New Year's, boom. They get arrested by DICOT. And earlier that year, for the real ones that know, they had their house raided in April because that dumbass chick was lying, saying that, oh yeah, they kidnapped me against my will. She called the U.S. Embassy because I think her boyfriend or some shit like that couldn't get a hold of her. And she didn't want to be honest and be like, she's in Romania being a 304, hanging out with Tristan. So she lied and said that she was being held against her will. And that's what prompted the DICOT to raid their house in the first place. So even if you're a Tate hater, right? I don't know, there's plenty of them. Oh, I don't like Andrew Tate, whatever. But that's fine. But I think at this point, you can at least concede that there's some semblance of lawfare here. They're just trying to get this guy in anything. Right? And this kind of comes back to what I've said before. It's very difficult, guys, to be based and while simultaneously being able to be large. Does that make sense? Like, Andrew broke the code. For those of you that forget, back in 2022, Andrew did a very innovative and never before seen social media tactic. He had hundreds of clippers putting his content all over Instagram, all over YouTube Shorts, all over TikTok, and every other social media platform. He had an army of clippers flooding his content everywhere. You could not avoid Andrew Tate in 2022. You cannot avoid him. He became the most Google guy on earth, right? From utilizing this strategy, which a lot of people do to this day. But since he doesn't have normie takes on certain things, they're like, whoa, this guy's a fucking threat. We got to get rid of him immediately. And that's what happened. So what we've seen, due to all this lawfare, is we've seen his voice suppressed and censored. I remember, like August of 2022, they banned him off everything. YouTube went down, then Instagram goes down, then Facebook goes down, then fucking Twitter goes down. All of his platforms went down in like a week. So there was a huge, huge moving force to get him censored and ban off every major platform. So yeah, dude, even if you're the biggest hater, you got to consider that a little bit, like that. Clearly, this is lawfare at minimum. You got to at least conclude that.
Out to get me. They don't have much. They're desperate to try and pin something on me, and they can't seem to make it stick. And that's why it's taking so long. Nothing's really happening. A lot of these cases are falling by the wayside. If I was truly guilty of anything, considering how much they don't like me, I think we both agree I'd be in jail.
The case that you mentioned in Romania, which has to be resolved in totality before you can be extradited back to the UK to face these charges from Bedfordshire police, my understanding is that that whole case is ongoing. It's not just relating to tax issues, that the whole case involving the human trafficking, rape allegations and so on, that is still unresolved. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so what happened there is in December of last year, the entire case under the Biden admin was thrown back to prosecutors for irregular evidence, basically corruption. The entire case file was littered with corruption. They had lied and made multiple mistakes. They had made false translations. They had made false documents for false girls who didn't exist. They lied from head to toe. It's the kind of thing that a prosecutor would go to jail for in a serious country, but of course we're in Romania. And even the Romanian court threw the entire file back and said there's irregularities in evidence. Basically, it was all corrupt. And the entire file was thrown back to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor was told he has to fix this file. Here we stand nearly 11 months later. The file is just sitting on his desk. He hasn't fixed anything. He hasn't changed anything. And the reason for that is because how can you fix things you've made up? You can't. So he's
right, but what is important? Right, but this is why the language around this is important, because there are people already, I see all over social media, who are seizing this development today, which is a not insignificant development. That's why I wanted to talk to you. But they're seizing on it to say Andrew Tate's been cleared of all wrongdoing. And they're saying he was cleared of all wrongdoing in Romania, but that's not actually technically correct as we sit here.
Well, technically, yes, it is actually. The case was sent to court. The indictment was put together and sent to court. It went to the preliminary chamber, which is the Romanian version of checking if there's even a case to go to trial. And it was rejected by the preliminary chamber for irregularities in the evidence, saying that this is a falsified case. This is a political case where you've just lied about evidence, prosecutors. Give me something real. That's what the judge said. It's gone back to his desk for 11 months. And what's happened to it since, I'm not sure.
Right, but it's so my point being, it's unresolved. And that is the reason. Well, hang on. And that's why you've not been extradited back to the UK to face the other charges. I mean, that's from a legal perspective, that is where you are, right?
By Romanian law, when the case is rejected in the preliminary chamber, it goes back on the prosecutor's desk and it can remain there for up to 10 years to basically be tried again at his discretion. So I understand he's going to try again at some point, perhaps with some of the financial.
And just because you guys have been requesting it, we'll cover the government shutdown here in a second. It's 12/21. The U.S. government is officially shut down. Now, I'll tell you guys as a former government employee, government shutdowns happen all the time. It's not really that big a deal. But apparently this one has some differences. So we'll talk about that. Give me 1 second, Ninjas. I'll keep playing the video. Give me 1 sec.
Financial crime, as we all know, I have lots and lots of money. I'm very, very rich. So the Romanians seem to be unhappy about parts of that. So perhaps he's going to send it back without the human trafficking and just the tax. Or maybe he'll leave a bit of the human trafficking in there. I'm not sure what he's going to eventually send it back with. But when he does send it back, that means it's 10 years before the British state can even attempt to extradite me. So I'll have to just drive around Transylvania in my supercars for 10 years while dealing with the Romanian court system.
Well, I mean, that does seem to be a preposterous situation. If indeed they did decide to string this out for many more years, which of course, you know, look, like I said to you, I don't know about your guilt or otherwise. I simply follow the news as it develops. But certainly, if you're one of the women that are still awaiting the prosecution for the Bedford charges, the idea that they would, just in terms of due process for them, the idea that their allegations would not be tested in court until potentially 10 years have elapsed on the Romania case, I mean, I'm sure you would agree that isn't due process. That isn't fair on them either.
Well, I would agree that this whole thing from the beginning has been a farce. I would agree that, yes, the prosecutor now has a choice. He can either throw the entire file out and I get extradited to the UK, but then the Romanian state owes me a whole bunch of money for false imprisonment. So they can't do that. So they have to send something to court, of course. And that's going to take 10 years. So there's...
All right. For those of you that are wondering, this is how I avoid being a fat piece of shit like some of you niggas hating on me in chat. I got some Quest chips, protein, with one of these core powers, 42 grams. So it's going to give me about 60. And then some blackberries. And I got my favorite, some barbecue sunflower seeds as well on the side, which I'll maybe snack on later. I don't fucking know. But yes, guys, if you just, one of the biggest ways to avoid being a fat ass is up your protein intake and keep food that isn't going to make you fat around in the house. Shout out to Robin Kobe with the big 10 gifted, bro. Appreciate you. I'm going to give it another 8 minutes, guys, then we're going to get off YouTube because we're not getting the likes up at the same speed. So we'll finish this up with Andrew. But I think at this point, man, it's very obvious this is fucking lawfare, bro.
This whole thing from the beginning has been a farce. The whole thing's been a setup from the beginning. The process is the punishment from the beginning. I've never done anything wrong from the beginning. And when we first met, when you were here and we were discussing Israel, Gaza, and all those things, all of our discussions were around this Romania case, which was thrown out after our meeting. And now we have this new British case, which popped up after our meeting. And one of them already got thrown out already. And then there's another one, which they're trying to extradite me on, but they won't tell me who the victims are. I mean, Piers, if they said to your son 20 years ago he hurt a girl, but we won't tell you who, where, when, we won't tell you anything. We'll just say 20 years ago you hurt a girl, and we won't give you any details. Of course, you're going to sit there and go, well, this sounds made up. I don't even know where this is supposed to have happened. I don't even know the person's name. This is obviously a farce. The whole thing's been a farce from the beginning. And just so you understand, the primary objective of all of this is twofold. One is to stop me voluntarily going to England because they know I'm a political force and they know I'll overthrow Labour. And secondly, the main reason is so that every time my name is said, people talk about the allegations against me as opposed to my ideas. They don't want anyone to talk about my fantastic ideas or my fantastic influence. They want people to talk about the allegations against me, which is why they try and keep these allegations.
And this is crazy because in America, obviously, you have the right to face your accusers, right? That's a right given to you in the United States. You have the right to face your accusers in court. For some odd reason, they're not even telling him who the fuck is making these accusations. Yo, the UK is cooked, bro. If we got any British guys in here, bro, I'm sorry, man. You niggas are cooked, bro.
Open and going on for so long. There is no due process, Piers, because there is no guilt. There isn't even any victims in a lot of this.
Well, the reality is we don't know that yet. And in relation to your ideas, as you heard from me to your face in our last interview, which got pretty passionate, as it often does, I don't share some of your ideas. I think some of them are reprehensible. But it is a fact, as I say to people, that when I walk around, I'd say 1 in 5 young men who come up to me want to talk about you. And you know what they ask me? Is he guilty? And I don't know. But I do know they're going to see headlines like today, and they're going to see it immediately spun incorrectly by a lot of people on both sides, people that hate you and people that love you, and they're going to spin it to suit their agenda. And that is why it's really important to me as a journalist to keep to the facts as we know them. So the question about Romania, if they decide to make a final decision about you, say for argument's sake, they drop the charges against you tomorrow, you would then be presumably immediately extradited to the UK. Is that your understanding?
I don't think it would work immediately. They would have to file to drop the charges, and they would have to justify to drop the charges, and they'd have to explain why they put me through all of these things while they don't have a case. And then Cheto would come involved because the European court would have to get involved for why I was falsely imprisoned, and I was locked up for 3 years, and they'd owe me about $100 million in lost income. And then there'd be a whole case around that. All my judicial processes would have to finish in Romania before I could be extradited. So either way, it's a minimum of 10 years.
Is your police?
10 years is nuts.
In these 21 charges, but we know it's 3 women in your case, 1 in Tristan's case. Is it your belief that all of those women are more likely than not to have worked for you and Tristan?
Absolutely not. I know every girl who worked for me, and they all contacted me and defended me. Every single girl who's ever worked for me has defended me. What happened is, when the Romanian case started to fall apart after we were let out of jail, and the British Foreign Office, who wrote to the Romanians and said, destroy these guys, the Romanians said there's nothing to destroy them with. Then the National Crime Agency launched something called Operation Moonwalk, and they called 2,000 women who had ever known me, my gardener's daughter, my neighbors who I used to live next to, 2,000 women. And amongst those 2,000, they managed to find 3 girls who, of course, are lying for financial gain. And they've come up with this entire bogus case. And I've said, okay, who are the girls? And they're saying, we're not telling you. We're not going to tell you when. We're not going to tell you where. We're not going to tell you who. We're just going to say you've done bad things 15 years ago. And it's a whole big farce from the beginning. If you call 2,000 women who a man has ever known throughout his entire life, of course you can find 3 liars. Considering that 20% of people are on antidepressants and 10% of people have mental health issues, I'm surprised they only found 3 of the 2,000. But it's a whole farce from the beginning. It's never going to stand up in court. It's not fair. And if they did the same thing to your sons, called 2,000 women they'd ever interacted with, they'd find 3 girls to lie too. That's just human nature. So
Crazy. Kurmi says, W Stream, I agree with your point of fat country caps for fat people. Thank you. Just Mo says, Myron, eventually Islam is going to take over America. Okay. Emac James. Oh, no. Sorry, I read that one. T. Wright. If you open fat camps, our fat girl problem will be solved. Yep. Padawan Slayer says, the generals who disagree with the Secretary of War have been autopilot for the last 20 years. They stopped running after he got promoted to 06, period. Fair enough. They stopped running. TRW OSS Club. Soon. Levier says, what do blacks and Batman have in common? They can't go out at night without Robin. Okay. Funny. Nigel says, Myron, are you upset that Charlie Kirk shooting a lot of the younger generation in the United States are becoming Christian and not Muslim? No. I don't care. Xi Jinping says, Myron, I live near Dearborn. They're all Shia Muslim, Chaldean, and Christian Lebanese people live in Sterling Heights, while the Sunni live in Hamtramck. Dearborn is only being put under a microscope because of the Mossad ties with the mayor of Dearborn Heights. Now Ambassador of Tunisia, Bill Bazi. When the Prime Minister of Iraq came to the U.S., he didn't go to Dearborn, which ultimately has the biggest, largest Shia Muslim, the largest Shia mosque in North America. He went to a small Shia mosque in Dearborn Heights. Okay. To be honest, during my last visit to Saudi Arabia in 2023, I noticed that the Adhan was no longer broadcast loudly outside. Wow. Okay. America, Kiyomi says, America was founded by white Christian men, and the Muslims that are loud and want others to change need to respect the land that they are guests in, like we would, vice versa. It's simple for all the idiots that don't understand. Yeah, bro, they don't get it. You know, we exercise the same respect. We go to the UAE. I'm not fucking, thumping my chest saying we need to adapt more Western practices here. My ass stinks. That's funny. Dude's name is My Ass Stinks. Candace said Kirk said he partnered with Israel and was bring her and Carlson to the team. I don't understand your chat. Guys, please spell check your chats before you send them in. Padawan says, this retarded broad yapping about the standards is fucking annoying. I know. Nobody follows Steve Rogers. Everyone follow Captain America. That woman is retarded. Yep. Gaza says, Myron, it's not that. And yo, Jiggy 233. I'll read your chat now, bro, but I only read 10 and up. Well, you might as well join OSS, my friend. This $2 that you spent, you could have donated one on OSS and then send in $1, and then you would have been the same thing. All right, it's not that women don't understand meritocracy. They just know they are useless, wouldn't get shit. Jiggy says, people wonder why healthcare in America is so high, they fail to look at their waistline. All you have to do is take a trip to the hospital and see my point. Yeah, we got a lot of fat people. Is it true as soon as I saw the standards drop from the Marine Corps, a lot of my buddies got fat and would go away with it? At the end of the day, I'm the one running it up in the front lines. Okay, JLY says, hey, Myron, why do people think Muslims are taking over when they make up less than 1.5% of the U.S. population and don't disproportionately hold major positions of power and control almost every aspect of American life? Yeah, it's an irrational fear. I agree with you. No fat asses, but none over 5'5". In the Army, should have had Marines out there. Okay. Myron, I'm sorry if you read this already, but after Charlie Kirk shooting, a lot of men in the younger generation in the United States are becoming Christian, but are leaving Islam. I don't know about that. Peyton says, I'm having trouble with my OSS. I'm also thinking about joining OSS 300. Join up, and then, yeah, just log in, bro. Nice Star says, screw J2. Facts. Them boys destabilize all the social deconstructivist movements have destroyed the bedrock of the family. That couple with social engineering has led Americans to not taking a pride in hating in the country. Okay. Iconic Mystery says, as a German, I miss the old German army under H. Okay. Kinetic says, the retard tax from YouTube is too high. Probably best to cut it. Typo, difference, not offense. Cure me. Hey, Myron, if I had the position in government, it should be Secretary of War. If you had a position of, it should be Secretary of War. Nah, I'd probably want to do DOJ or DHS. Reading my struggle, if you know what I mean, I'm on chapter 7. Okay. J. Miles. Myron, in the Hadith, it says Muhammad slept with 30 men known as the Al-Aqzaq with his follower Abdullah Watch. What? I don't know about that, J. Miles. Someone in the chat's going to probably challenge you on that. Homosexuality is strictly forbidden in the Islamic faith, bro. I don't know where you got that Hadith from, J. Miles. I don't know if that's true, bro. Mr. Magneto says, Myron, buddy, you don't always have to respond to the dumbest of your commentators. Yeah, sometimes we got to roast them. But yeah, I'm not really responding to them the rest of the show. We got air takers heading to the Middle East right now. Last time this happened, 12-day war kicked off. Trump also announced today that ground assaults will be happening in Venezuela. Okay, that's another reason too why they probably brought all these guys in. We are definitely in a very potential war climate. For a pistol CCW, how often do you recommend training? At least once a month. Sergeant Pickle, criminals have gone to a level of crime that they've seen as a terrorist, and that is why Trump is sending the National Guard. Okay. Stan, my brother told me that having no woman as a friend is false because he believes a female friend can help you pick up other women. What do you think? Your brother's a retard. In very rare instances, can guys actually do that? Like Mike Sartain, etc. Guys that, understand female nature properly. Yes, they can go ahead and utilize women in the friend zone to get them girls, but most men are simply not capable of doing that. So yeah, your brother's wrong in most situations. The federal government is now officially shut down. Also, okay, Candace, okay, read that one. Mine, I'm an accountant in Belgium. Also have my license. I work independent through a management company. I work mainly for my previous employer, getting my clients through. I have no problem paying the $98 a month. We'd love to be a brotherhood. Yeah, bro, join. We'd love to have somebody out in Belgium. Foreign guys, we want you even more. Pause. 100% join. And we got about 100 guys in the OSS 300 right now. So we're 1/3 of the way there, guys. 1/3 of the way there. And I haven't even been advertising it like that. Trump is justifying deploying federal forces on the National Guard because federal law lets him protect federal property and operates in D.C. He's invoking Section 740 of the Home Rule Act. Yep, absolutely. You're right. Have you ever gooned before? I mean, who hasn't, bro? Come on. Judah International Click. What the fuck? Myron Gage X, what do you predict would be Tatum's talking points on debate Thursday? You mean Tatum? He's going to say that Israel's our greatest ally. Watching the stream while working on my 3D animation video, WStream, and I used to live in Battle Creek, Michigan, which is 2 hours from Dearborn, okay? Dear Chow, off topic, but regarding your rant on Muslims, and I say this with all respect to you, if Christian countries want to preach religious freedom but cry about the Adhan, and all Muslim countries should ban the church ringing bells, which many Muslims allow. Yeah, bro, but here's the thing. A lot of places don't do the church ringing bells. And that shit's annoying too. Bro, that shit's annoying as well. Nobody want to hear any of that shit.
So the whole thing's been a setup from the beginning. None of it's ever been fair. None of it's ever been fair.
Your UK solicitor, Andrew Ford, welcomed today's decision and said, despite much external pressure, the evidence speaks for itself in this case, and the Crown Prosecution Service have rightly confirmed the evidence is inadequate to provide any realistic prospect of conviction. The reason the CPS made this decision will become obvious when the evidence is played out during these civil proceedings. So, I mean, what is he suggesting there? What do you believe is going to come out of the civil case, which is going to make this decision by the CPS obvious?
Well, I have an upcoming civil case, so I have to be careful what I say. But in a hypothetical scenario, if girls are going to accuse a man of rape or sexual assault, and then continue to see him for years afterwards, and continue to text him, and continue to buy him birthday presents, and continue to beg to
absolutely nuts,
want to be with him, and continue to call his phone and sit outside his house when he doesn't reply to them, and then start asking him for money and getting very angry when they don't get money, I think it's pretty clear to see the motivations behind a false criminal accusation. I don't think anybody with a functioning mind.
And this is scary that women can still make accusations on you with this.
Is going to be confused about why this is happening. And the Bedfordshire case is garbage too. All of this is garbage. Piers, I understand you're a journalist. I understand you have to be very careful what you say. However, you are a father to sons, and it's very unfair that we live in a world now where any man can just be unfairly attacked, unfairly lied about, and they have to suffer the
This Me Too era is fucking bullshit, man.
Process of this entire insanity.
Thankfully, Andrew has the money and resources to fight it, but could you imagine a regular guy going through this, bro?
For years before eventually it turns out the girls lied, because what happens to those liars?
Well, look, I think it's very unfair. I think it's very unfair if anyone doesn't get due process, whether that's a male who's been accused of things, a woman who's making the allegations.
Yeah, but the problem is that we always defer to what women say and believe their judgment. All right, let's go ahead and go into the government shutdown. But good news for Tate, man. Happy for him. These cases keep getting dropped all over the places, or being proven to be weak. So,
shutdowns are actually a bit more common than probably perceived.
Yeah, they happen all the time. When I was working for the government, bro, we had a government shutdown like at least once a year, bro. It always happens.
We've had 20 of these shutdowns. It's often just political brinksmanship.
I think is really simply a response to showing that they're willing to fight Trump.
The president's doing kabuki theater. He's threatening to fire a bunch of employees if we don't keep the government open.
Democrats are really trying to make this fight about health care, but Republicans...
Unforgiven with the 5 gifted. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah. Trump also trolled these Democrats that came to his office, and yeah, Trump 2028 hats. Funny as fuck.
Republicans are betting that they won't be successful, that people will just see Democrats as holding up a shutdown, potentially leading to a large-scale federal layoff. The fiscal year starts from October 1st and runs all the way until September 30th of next year. So every year on September 30th or around this time, there's a question whether or not the government is going to be funded.
We are going to give them every opportunity to vote for a clean CR.
For Republicans, it's a time to show that Democrats are blocking the way to keeping the government funded, trying to paint them as unreasonable.
We're spending about $7 trillion this year. Now, we're only talking about 25% of the budget, which is the discretionary spending. Obamacare is the root cause of all of these problems. It is skyrocketing healthcare costs, insurance costs, and all Democrats want to do is throw more money at it. We want to bring down healthcare costs in a reasonable way.
Well, Democrats say the only way they are ever going to give Republicans the votes they need to keep the government open is through something on health care.
And what we know is that failure to extend those tax credits is going to see insurance costs rise for over 20 million people, and about 4 million people lose their health insurance entirely.
For the government to avoid a shutdown, you need 60 senators to vote for approving any sort of stopgap or funding bill. If you do the math, Republicans only have 53 Republican senators. That means they need at least 7 Democrats to join them. And frankly, because Rand Paul tends to vote no on these continuing funding bills, they're likely going to need 8 Democrats. Now you have one already, John Fetterman, who has come out and said he doesn't think that a government shutdown is ever a good idea, that it ever helps people. And he has come out and supported the Republicans' legislation. But at this point, you don't have any other Democrats who have done so.
My guess is we probably will shut the government down.
This shutdown is a little bit different because we're seeing something that we've never seen before, which is the federal government not just saying that they will furlough federal employees, but they will actually fire and lay off federal employees who are considered non-essential. So the Office of Management and Budget, run by Russell Vought, came out with a memo to agencies just the other week saying, hey, as you...
And just so you guys know, when I was a government employee, essential employees still have to come into work. So I remember the worst shutdown was like maybe back in 2013, 2014, we were shut down for like a month or two. I remember I didn't get paid for like 2 months almost because it's every 2 weeks you get paid with the government. Essential employees, like law enforcement, etc., they still got to come into work every day. Obviously, you get back paid. But this shit could suck. But yeah, essential employees still have to come into work and they don't get paid.
Furlough employees, consider whether or not you really need those roles and consider shrinking down your agencies so it's only essential employees, as well as programs and agencies that are in line with the president's agenda. Now, he didn't go into detail about exactly which agencies those would be, but we can guess based on what the priorities of the Trump administration have been. Probably means things like Customs and Border Protection, ICE, military, policing would all maintain funding levels and staff, or maybe things like, say, the Department of Education would be more at risk for cuts. Democrats have basically come out and said that this is nothing more than an intimidation tactic. They point out there have already been massive reductions in the federal workforce and that Russell Vought doesn't need a government shutdown to ask agencies to lay off individuals. Meanwhile, you have seen the Supreme Court bring some initial rulings out that lay a path for the Trump administration to fire more workers. So there is more of a risk here if a shutdown does happen, because you could see a massive shrinkage in the size of government.
Those federal workers would be certainly impacted in a major way. If I look at the overall, economy, we're talking about 160 million people employed, over 160 million employed. And the federal workers, the ones that were potentially furloughed, is probably about 800,000. This big debate about the employment picture and inflation. And if we go into a government shutdown, some of that data releases, even the upcoming employment report, would potentially not come out. So all of a sudden you have the Fed heading into a meeting with less information, which is already a difficult decision. I mean, I think what would happen is that the Fed would start looking even more on outside private data, but it certainly complicates things at a time where there's a lot of tension in the Fed's mandate and that employment versus the inflation side.
I mean, obviously, it's a big deal for the government employees that are furloughed or fired, but
From a broader economic perspective, not so much.
The economy tends to take a little bit of a short-term hit during the shutdown, and then there tends to be a rebound thereafter as well. So you're seeing the kind of the same picture play out in financial markets. When you look back historically, leading up, there tends to be a little bit of volatility, but during the actual shutdown, the market has actually been about flat.
When it comes to the FAA, airlines, you usually see longer lines for planes when a government shutdown is going on. The U.S. Travel Association estimated that during a shutdown, about $1 billion for the travel industry is lost a week. That's from flights, that's from rail, that's from people not visiting U.S. parks and national monuments, which are closed during a shutdown. Would it be smart for the government to avoid having to do shutdowns by automatically continuing funding when they get to this point? Probably. But much like the fiscal cliff and raising the debt ceiling, it takes away this key point of leverage that really forces lawmakers to sit down, come to the table, and hash out an agreement. Much like the debt ceiling and the debt limit, it's something that Congress is just going to continue to wrangle over year after year.
All right, let's get into TikTok being taken over.
It's official. Trump just signed an executive order facilitating the sale of TikTok, America's most popular social media app, now valued at $14 billion. But sold to who exactly?
With this executive order, you will be effectively bringing into effect the agreement that will save TikTok and ensure that it can operate safely and securely.
So this is interesting because I had a very good talk with President Xi, a lot of respect for him. Hopefully he has a lot of respect for me too. And we talked about TikTok and other things, but we talked about TikTok and he gave us the go-ahead. It's run by American investors and American companies, great ones, great investors.
Great American companies. Okay, let's see the details here. This is straight from the executive order. Quote, it will be majority owned by U.S. investors, operated in the U.S. by a board of directors with national security and cybersecurity credentials, and subject to strict rules to protect Americans' data and our national security. ByteDance will hold less than 20% of the stock as required by law, choose only one director of the 7-seat board, and be excluded from the company's security committee. Oracle, one of the nation's leading technology companies, will act as TikTok's security provider and independently monitor and assure the safety of all operations in the U.S. Oracle. You mean the CIA cutout? That Oracle? More on them in a second, but first, let's go back to Trump and J.D. Vance.
JD was very much involved and in charge of it, and maybe I'll have you say a few words about the deal. He would report back, and the points of the deal, I think, are great for our country. So, JD, do you want to give it a little talk, please?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So thank you, sir, for your leadership and for your help. We really couldn't have done this without the president actually ushering this deal over the finish line. There was some resistance on the Chinese side, but the fundamental thing that we wanted to accomplish is that we wanted to keep TikTok operating, but we also wanted to make sure that we protected Americans' data privacy as required by law, both because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's a legal requirement of the law that was passed last year by Congress. So we think that we were able to do that. Of course, we're going to keep on working at it, but this deal really does mean that Americans can use TikTok, but actually use it with more confidence than they had in the past, because their data is going to be secure and it's not going to be used as a propaganda weapon against our fellow citizens.
Not going to be used as a propaganda tool against our fellow citizens. You sure about that, JD?
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battle.
This was the other day when Netanyahu was in New York meeting with influencers that are pro-Israel.
Fields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok.
Hold on a second. I just had to pause real quick. Did you guys hear that? Somebody said bots.
Bots?
Who are the ones accusing the other countries of using bots again? Anyway, let's continue.
TikTok. TikTok. Number one. Number one.
And I'm going to explain to you guys why the Israelis want TikTok so bad.
And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential.
Okay, all of that is very disturbing, but why is Netanyahu so confident that he can control TikTok to the benefit of Israel? Quote, turns out it didn't need to be eliminated. TikTok is a message force multiplier after all, and only requires, apparently, the right people to own it, like Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison. See, told you I would come back to Larry. He is the second richest man in the world and the single biggest private donor of the Israeli Defense Forces, someone who has referred to the state of Israel as his own. Do people not see something wrong here with an American citizen being the biggest private donor of a foreign army? That is very weird. And don't just take it from me. Take it from Larry Ellison himself, straight from the horse's mouth.
I have been to Israel. I've been to the border. I have spent time to the people who...
Now you guys are probably wondering, who is this Larry Ellison guy? Bro, this is starting to fatigue me now at this point.
govern the state of Israel. And I feel a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel and the Israeli people.
Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early lie.
We have two CEOs at Oracle. One's name is Safra Katz, and she was born in Israel.
Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early lie.
So again, we love the country of Israel, and we'll do everything we can to support the country of Israel.
I'll repeat what he just said again. We will do everything we can to support the country of Israel. They've already put a former IDF soldier, Erica Mendel, as the head of content moderation at TikTok. And also, if we just zoom out for a second, the Ellison family...
Yeah, so the head of content moderation used to work for the Israeli government. What do you think is going to happen?
Family now control CBS, Paramount, Warner, CNN, and TikTok. That is now a secured Israeli propaganda ecosystem. Now, Dropsite is already reporting that TikTok is escalating a sweeping crackdown on pro-Palestine creators.
Yep, they've already banned certain words. They banned the juice emoji. They're already getting a work chat.
Deleting videos, scrubbing comments, and burying posts about Gaza.
TikTok is fucking garbage, bro. I've been off that app since 2020. It's literally the worst.
They've also evidently introduced an overhaul of its community guidelines, banning users from calling the IDF terrorists and rolling out automated moderation that retroactively wipes posts. Users are reporting Free Palestine comments disappearing in real time and Israeli war crimes videos getting taken down. Wow, remember when I said more than a year ago that the TikTok deal had nothing to do with China and everything to do with Israel? Is the TikTok ban about China or is it about Israel? Well, now that the House has voted, we can take a look at some hard data. First, I went to this Washington Post article to find out who voted in support of banning TikTok and who voted in opposition to that. I then went to Open Secrets to look up who received money from pro-Israel lobbies in the 2022 election cycle. Then I matched them up in this spreadsheet. So you have column A is the member of Congress, column B is how much money they received from pro-Israel lobbies, and column C is how they voted in HR 7421. So 1 means that they voted yes in favor of banning TikTok. 0 means no, they did not. So if we just go down this
and look at how much money they all got paid. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
List, this is sorted in descending order by how much pro-Israel money they took. Top of the list is Chantel Brown, Ohio, over $1 million in pro-Israel money. She voted yes. Haley Stevens.
Hey guys, we're still sitting at not even 2,000 likes, man. And we just hit the 3-hour mark. All right, fuck it. I'm getting off YouTube. All right, guys. We're getting off YouTube. We're getting off.
709.
We're gonna continue on. I'm gonna react to this debate between Abba and Knight after this. We're gonna cover Charlie's letter to Netanyahu. And we're also gonna cover 9/11 with Tucker Carlson. Got a lot of fucking shit to go over.
Fatality.
So we got a good show planned. Come on over, guys. We're getting off YouTube. Okay. Come on over, guys. We've been 3 hours now on YouTube, free content on YouTube. Now we're going to go to Kick and Rumble only. So come on over, guys. We didn't get the likes up like we were supposed to, so I'm getting off YouTube. Why do we got so many random haters in the chat, bro? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why do you watch some people that you don't like? I don't understand. I will never understand that, bro. Never understand. All right. You guys know what time it is. We're getting off this bitch. All right, guys. Y'all know what time it is. Ending the YouTube stream now. Guys, drop the kick. Drop the kick in the Rumble chat and the Rumble link. Drop them both. Plus, I don't want to have to censor myself over this bullshit. It's getting kind of annoying, I'll be honest with y'all. Having to always censor myself. It's fucking the worst. Here's the Rumble link, guys. Come on over to Rumble or Kick, whichever one you guys prefer. Kick.com/Myron Gaines X. So, all right, guys.